Okay, I got the red smoke.
Gun runs north to south, west of the smoke, west of the smoke.
Okay, copy. West of the smoke. I'm looking at danger close now.
Come on with it, baby. Give it to me. I need it. You're cleared hot.
Copy, cleared hot.
And
I feel like everybody in their policing career, of which I have 0 seconds whatsoever, should aim to be a jump out boy at some time.
So you've got enough to talk on the internet about policing then. More than enough.
I do.
Yeah. As a blank, and then tell me what I should do about my job.
What are your thoughts on the policing you see on the internet these days?
You know, I actually just recorded a video. Are we starting? Is this going on now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
100%. Ever since we've been making fun of Michael and a close-up on his eyeball.
Smart, as we should. That's a good way to kick off the show. Ridicule the editor. It says there's like...
Editor? That's not a sign role.
You're not even an editor?
No.
That's just how we kick off every show.
What would your role be? He has the little buttons that he pushes for the camera switching.
Professional button pitch?
So he does that. He used to. It started, I would record an entire episode multi-camera. I would have to go back and watch my own conversation and cut the cameras.
Those are fun, isn't it? Watching yourself talk about yourself.
It's horrible.
I love me some me. I tell you what, I sit down with popcorn and watch it 2 or 3 times in a row.
Then I made Michael start doing that. That's how he began. And now the biggest benefit, other than he can look things up in real time and completely correct me when I talk out of my ass, which is 72% of the time anyway.
Jamie Light.
Yeah. He does the switching, and so at the end of the episode, you're actually ready to go. You don't have to go back and spend any other time. Yeah, so the little box he's got with the buttons.
If we like looked at that camera, then looked at that camera, then looked at that camera, he would have to jump to each one.
I'm not that good.
Exactly. I was going to say exactly those words, but he knows, to be honest. We're teaching him about honesty as if he were a child.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of people could learn some honesty talk.
Malibu Fitness, you follow the man?
Bro, what a fucking heartbreak.
Did you see the video he put up, though?
I did, where he apologized.
He did well.
Here's my thing with Malibu Fitness, as opposed to other people that do the stolen valor thing. I haven't been following him that long, but his content is not military based. It's just, hey, let's work out. He doesn't bring up his deployments at all as like some sort of attaboy, you know, that normal stolen valor, I say normal, normal stolen valor people do. So with him not using it in like such an egregious manner, even with, I don't know about the excuse, like people make fun of my face, so I just saw I got blown up. I'm like, that sounds like a fucking, kind of legitimate. Hey, just fucking leave me alone. He's not antagonistic at all.
Yeah.
So
I can see how somebody gets there, though, not knowing what to do with that. I think his account went from like 30,000 to 1.3 million.
In like 2 months?
I think it was faster than that. So I can get being on the receiving end and being bombarded. What I appreciated is he didn't try to beat around the bush. He didn't use words like, I would like to take unequivocal responsibility for accidentally misspeaking. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Montana Knife Company. What can I tell you about Montana Knife Company that you don't already know? Some of their blades are right here behind me. This is their VF24 dagger. But Tactical Month was in February. We're going to move on here a little bit. For those who didn't get it from the name, they're made in Montana. The company was founded by Josh Smith, the youngest master bladesmith in the history of knives, I think. Right down the road in Missoula. Their grand opening is actually just under 1 month from today. I'll be down there with Leah in the helicopter. For anybody who wants to join, go to their website, montanaknifecompany.com. You're going to get all the details there. But what they have coming this month are the tradition knives. March 26th. Read this to make sure that I get them correctly. These tradition knives are polished Magna Cut blades and desert ironwood handles. 5 models are coming out: the Blackfoot, Speedgoat, Whitetail, MKC elk knife, and the Jackstone. I believe they have versions of those, each of those, on their website, so you can go and you can check them out. These knives go incredibly fast. My suggestion is to go on there and buy something like a sticker or something of a smaller value before you're trying to get one of these knives on the days that they drop, because they go quickly. And I have personally had knives taken out of my cart because I was manually trying to put in my credit card information as opposed to having it saved in their system and being able to just hit buy. So these are great blades. The brand is fantastic. I'm down there all the time. Like I said, I'll be down there for the grand opening. And this month is all about the Traditions knives. March 26th, 5 blades: Blackfoot, Speedgoat, Whitetail, elk knife, and the Jackstone. MontanaKnifeCompany.com. Back to the show.
Did somebody do that? That sounds very...
Kim Kennedy.
Oh, Jesus. Right.
And here's the deal. There's a reason.
You know what? his fucking bag of grenades are as real as those airsoft rifles.
People ask me whether or not I ever carried 50 grenades, and clearly the answer is no. 51 was the standard.
So my first tour in Iraq was fun. I got blown up, and we had a lot of fun. I was out doing missions with my civil affairs guys, and it was my first tour. I was 18, and we had so much ammo and just bullshit grenades. We had like, in our civil affairs company is only like 21, 30 dudes.
Yeah.
We're opposed to like a line unit. A company's like 200, 160. So we had my team, my 4-man team, loaded up our Humvee with so much shit. We literally had like 240 crates and like 50 cal ammo cans filled with probably about like 8 grenades, some smoke, some frag. They all had like tape on it because we were also like, we probably won't need this, even though we're with line units and like on patrols all the time. Yeah, sure. Yeah. That's not our MO as civil affairs, is to take the fight to the troops, right?
Yeah.
That's not our main job, right? But we are embedded with, soft forces sometimes, mostly line units like infantry.
Yeah.
And so we were there. We had it. We let the guys that we were on patrol know, hey, if you run low on anything, we got a lot of shit. And we would also use that to trade. So we had like we were on an old air base in Kirkuk, and so we had bunkers, the bomb-proof bunkers that weren't so bomb-proof for some.
Yeah, that had holes in the ceilings.
Yeah. And that was our like ammo depot where we stored everything and locked it up. And we would use that as trade bait. We'd be like, hey, you infantry guys, you running low on anything? Like, yeah, man, we don't have a... Pushing across the table.
Yeah, man.
I need to go here, here, and here in the next like 3 or 4 days.
See, but that's a real story.
Yeah.
That is based in truth.
And I will say, I wasn't the one doing the haggling. I was an idiot. So my team leaders were the one doing the idiot, or the real stuff. I was doing the idiocy stuff, clean the truck. And I did do wheeling and dealing at the motor pool to get my truck done. That's
part of military life. I mean, we could do an entire episode on how you can use pieces of MREs like commerce.
My friend Joe, who I'm starting a podcast with actually soon.
You're gonna go away from YouTube, from the angry cops. Also, why do you have to be angry? Passionate cops.
Passionate cops sounds a little sexual, so you just go with angry.
It does sound.
You've got the emotion, but then you don't have the sexual aggression.
But people don't want cops to be angry.
Yeah, they do. Who you want? You want friendly hugaboo cops?
Yes. Yeah.
No.
They're out there in the community.
I know they are out there in the community.
Handing out hugs.
Dude, so much has gone on since the last time we've talked.
Malibu Fitness is going to be okay because he owned it. And like you said, it wasn't...
it wasn't this... He wasn't beating you over the head.
It wasn't the foundation of who he was and how he built the platform. He is generally positive. I think it can be something that he can learn from and grow from. When you fuck up in life, welcome to life, everybody. You're going to.
Yeah.
Like there's ups and downs in life. There's bank deposits and there's withdrawals in trust and how you are as a person. When you fuck up and you try to talk your way around it, that's how you go to bankrupt with people. Mm-hmm. If you can just sit there and own it, it's still going to be a withdrawal, but you can minimize the size and you can learn from it and you can grow from it. You can probably go back and end up with more money in your trust equity account. It's when you sit there and you're like, no, I can't use the word lie unintentionally. Like, I can't do it, man.
Yeah.
I can't get on board with that. And there's a reason why those two particular individuals, not that Tim is the only person who's gone down that path, but there's a reason why they're being treated differently. Because he's kind of tried to put his foot back into the social world with a few brands. Bro.
Dude, it's...
The internet's memory, forever. Undefeated.
Forever.
Yeah.
I don't know how... I still follow Tim Kennedy. He's still got tons of followers, right? Yeah. And I follow him, and it's... I don't know why I do it. There's probably a bunch of reasons rolled up into one, but one of the things that I noticed when I follow Tim is how we talk about Malibu Fitness is probably going to bounce back from this because he didn't make it his identity. His veteran status was not his identity. Yeah. Tim's veteran status was 100% his identity. Yeah. Or military status, because I think he still serves, or...
I get lost in the guard stuff, man. You guys use different math, and you do like a weekend. It accounts for 6 years towards your retirement.
I'm back in the reserves, babe. All right, I'm back in the reserves. I got the drill hat on. I'm back in the reserves.
Listen, I
Yelling at
also
troops.
don't understand how reserve time works either.
We're the same.
6 weekends a month, and then 5 minutes on the 5th Tuesday of every year, and you're retired. I don't understand.
In the Army National Guard, you can. That's all you need to know. The jingle.
Yeah.
We need to do that. We just need to bring back the old school 90s commercials, unaltered, and just play them. And that's it. Yeah. But yeah, I was looking at Tim Kennedy stuff, and the engagement is like, I've got 1.2 million followers, 20 likes, 80 comments.
Most of those
You're
people
full
are
of shit.
sitting there waiting for him to try to put the foot back in the arena again. And this is such an interesting one for me. I was talking with Greg about it yesterday before we got on air. It was so hard for my wife and I because I've spent a bunch of time with him outside of the public spectacle where cameras are around. He is a fantastically nice human being.
Yeah.
So ridiculously helpful. Depending on the person, and to me, he always was. My data point's one, right? I don't know other people's experiences, but watched him, literally like help people across the street with groceries when there's no cameras out there. You know what I mean? And it wasn't until later on, and my wife and I were talking, I realized, I think he was really censored though in some of the things that he would or would not say about me, because a tremendous amount of people have reached out saying, well, what about this story? This is what he told me. I'm like, oh, yeah. That's not even remotely what happened. And I called him before I did an episode. And I was just like, hey, man, like I'm in a position where I'm getting bombarded and I'm going to answer honestly. And the call didn't go the way I wanted it to go, man. He kind of doubled down. And that's what I think those people are all waiting there for, is for him to try to come back in. And until he actually just owns it, dude, they're just going to be, it's like the mousetrap is sprung and it's like shaking under tension.
It's not, man.
Waiting, and then just whack, and it's every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Malibu's going to go to Costco, get some protein powder, and he's going to be good, dude.
He'll be fine.
He's going to be fine.
He'll be fine. Yeah. I didn't have a bad experience with Tim the first time I met him, but it was one
How about
where...
the second time? Because I feel like there's one in there somewhere based off your facial reaction.
No, there was a second time, but I think those are the only two times that we've met.
Yeah.
And the first time I was just kind of like, I think I have an idea who you are. And then I was just like, boop. Because it's very simple. I was talking with people that were more important than me, are more important than me.
Which is everybody in every room I've been in.
Right. But he leaned on me to like talk to these people next to me for about a minute and a half. And I sat there and I was just like, all right, I could either be upset and push back at this, or I could use this as like a learning experience. Let's learn. Let's see how long he uses me as a piece of furniture before he acknowledges me and says, hey, or anything. Let's just see how this goes. So he leaned on me for like a minute or so. It was a long time to just lean on a person and not acknowledge the fact that you're like leaning on them. And I was like, okay, I'm not important to you. This person is important. They have a lot of stature. You probably put a lot of people that have stature you think that can better you around you. And if not, you're just going to fucking poo-poo them. Which I'm not going to say is most people, right? If you can't help me, if you're going to hinder me, then I probably won't hang out with you. We build each other up in like the friendship groups that I have. But yeah, if you're like an unknown, you're like, okay, that's how you treat people that you're not sure about. I was like, all right, I think I made up my mind. And I kept it to myself. This is the only time I've ever talked about it. But
Those are good learning lessons, man.
yeah.
I have, I think I'm just now getting it way closer to 50 than 40 to my ability to understand those type of things.
You look bad. You look really bad.
Well, and earlier in life, I didn't really, I guess, maybe have the social awareness or even actually care to recognize that things like that were happening. But I'm definitely more cautious now in my life, paying attention to because that's a small, subtle thing that I think a lot of people wouldn't pay attention to. But yeah, you're getting the answers to the test,
Right?
Yeah. Why extend it out 6 more engagements or a month or a year or later on down the line? Like, it's smart for sure. You know what Malibu Fitness needs?
What does he need?
He needs.
Don't say a facelift. He's had too many.
Oh no, I was going to say a facial moisturizer sponsor.
Why? Is he that
Forehead
toasted?
No, dude, forehead for days. You know what I mean? It's just like slather it on there. People are making fun of him for his face. I'm like, bro, lean into that. It's the only face you got. You could do No, because most of that's lost, right? Because your face, like most of your baldness is on the backside. You'd have to talk like this.
Yeah. I thought about hair transplants. I had somebody, I had a company message me from Turkey.
Fry or tuck it, dude. That's all. That's what you should do.
Champ Bailey. Whammy.
Lean into it.
Yeah. No, I'll just be bald. You know what I want to do though? Because I am confident enough, is I want to have obvious wigs. I want to have fun wigs.
Like slightly askew, and maybe like you could tell that it's just not on
Oh,
properly.
no. I mean, like,
You're talking different hair color, like a ginger wig?
yeah, like everything. Like everything. I've got red hair. I've got cornrows. I've got a fro. I've got, I've got the.
Oh, look at that.
Saved it. Saved it. Not a drop.
Not a drop. Shades are still on the table. Nice.
Not a drop.
Oh, man. There is a lot to talk about. When were you last on? About a year ago?
Yeah, when my Buffalo Schools things kicked off.
Where does that stand? That's actually probably a good place to pick it up.
So they had an internal investigation where they had a outside law firm come into the school and investigate all sorts of the things that I said.
Mm-hmm. Isn't there a problem with that, though, if they had destroyed some of the evidence along the way? Because you can, from my understanding, an investigation is based off the things you can physically find, see, touch, and work with.
Yeah.
If that doesn't exist because people are like, oh, crap, we might get in trouble, that might change the trajectory outcome of an investigation.
So you are right. That was an issue for some of the things. Like, I'll give you an example. Let's say I talk about one situation where there was a 17 and like a 14-year-old, we'll say teenage kids basically, and the one male rapes the female in a school by the pool. The DA's office talks to the principal, and the principal refuses to come in for a subpoena and writes them a letter, right? And says, I refuse to come into a subpoena.
You can do that?
No, no. But when your district attorney doesn't follow through with, arresting people for not answering the summons.
I think the Clintons can also do that.
Oh, yeah. Clinticide.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Even though I think they both finally had to walk themselves in and answer some questions.
Oh, no. Answer questions instead of being held accountable. Great. Awesome. So that kind of happened. So for that investigation, they're like, we didn't find anything. And well, here's the reason why you didn't find anything. The district attorney's office wouldn't allow them to look inside their files. They wouldn't share their files with them, to include the letter that the principal wrote to the district attorney, the assistant district attorney, saying I refuse to come in for the subpoena. I did my own investigation, which tanked that investigation actually, because the assault happened. The girl reported it to the principal. The principal's just like, I did my own investigation. A year later, the girl's friend reports it, like in some form or fashion. We know about it. It's a year after the fact. There's no video. It hasn't been saved. There's no physical evidence. Now you've turned what could have been an actual investigation with hard evidence into a he said, she said, which can work if you interview the person appropriately and they damn themselves or they just outright lie about a lot of things too. Mm-hmm. Both are good in an investigation. You could say that you weren't there and you didn't do anything, but that would go against all of the other additional evidence that I have. So that still works out. We don't have that. Also, because juveniles are involved, the Buffalo Police Department's like, we can't share with you any of our files or notes because it's juvenile, which is strange. Hear me out. Because if this is an investigation involving children at a school by the schools and their now legal representation, why would you be unable or unwilling to share the juvenile information with the entity that is already purview to that, being a representative of the schools?
I mean, what you're describing is like, what's the point? You're not going to be able to see anything or do an investigation in any way, shape, or form. So why are we actually playing this charade?
So, disappointed in moments like that, which there were plenty. Happy that they acknowledged that the investigation found some shortcomings. Didn't go as hard, as I wanted it to, but still called out some stuff. Some of the things that I didn't like that were a little confusing was we talk about like video that isn't there. The straw that broke the camel's back for me was when I came in, and that's when I broke the story on my buddy's podcast, the Unsub podcast, and then came on here and talked about it. Was there was a guy that tried to abduct 2 kids at a school.
Oh, I remember this.
Yep. And the school deleted some of the video or didn't share a portion of the video, which showed that there was a second child. So the investigation was all about one kid potentially being abducted when there was 2 victims. And then it wasn't until like a month or so down the line where somebody sent the video that they had recorded themselves in some form or fashion to the district attorney's office and was like, hey, there's this angle. You might want it. Well, what did the investigation show, right, from this lawyer coming in and looking at stuff? Well, it showed that there was like the request from, this is the lawyer saying this, the request from the DA's office was too vague when they asked for video that showed the instance happening. So instead of giving them all the video of the instance happening, they only gave them most of the video of everything that happened. So let's say there's 3 cameras in a hallway, right? Yeah. They gave them 2. Well, that third camera had a different angle, the point of having another camera in the hallway, which showed that one other kid being a part of the attempted abduction. So they said, hey, there's some issues with us, saving video, which is great because that's been an issue for years. Oh, the camera doesn't work. Oh, that one was off that day. I mean, it's intentionally them lying to us, but at least that was acknowledged. The unfortunate part of that specific little part of their investigation into that incident was the district attorney's office writes a letter, like it's in email form, to the schools and says, you are obstructing my investigation. Obstruction is a charge.
Yeah.
Don't know if people know that or not. Kind of a big deal, especially coming from the district attorney's office. You're obstructing my investigation by not handing over this video in a timely manner or giving me child's names and other information. And the reason why the school was saying we're not giving you these kids information is because of FERPA, which is it's FERPA. And what it is it protects kids' information for being like put out in the public from the schools. But what does it specifically protect is like your grades, your attendance records. You can't go to a school where my kid goes and request my kid's school records. That's what it's about.
Why would anybody do that in the first place?
I don't know. Weird stalker people, I guess.
Wanting to know what grade your kid got on like an English test?
Or daddy's a SEAL and they want to get to daddy because, they're Mossad or whatever.
Take it easy, Mossad.
I know.
I'm retired.
You say that.
Also, and my children are out of school, so get fucked.
Yep. So yeah, but in the investigation, he's like, oh, by the way, the word obstruction there, when the district attorney is saying that you're obstructing the investigation intentionally by not giving us the names of these kids, because this is a criminal investigation, I'm not asking for the report cards, which is literally what FERPA protects. Report cards, not information for a criminal investigation. Case in point, if there's a school shooter, probably going to give up the kid's name of who the potential target is for that school shooting, who the suspect is. You wouldn't be like, sorry, I can't give that to you because he's on the roll here. So the investigation was like, well, even though they used the term obstruction, this isn't really like legal obstruction of an investigation, even though that's 100% what the email said is you are obstructing an investigation.
Yeah.
So that blew my mind. The other thing that I was happy for, but also disappointed in, was their end result of the investigation was we found systemic issues with the reporting process and A, B, C, and D, all the complaints that I made, systemic in the system that we need to change.
How's that going?
But we're not going to hold anybody in charge of the system accountable. It was an accident.
People wonder why trust and faith in institutions just erodes.
So I had to talk to my shrink. I broke down. I drank a bottle of tequila. I fucking wept. I fucking getting emotional now. So I wept. I called up a friend. He helped me out of it.
What type of tequila?
Tapatio. Very good. Like the hot sauce.
Costco?
No.
Liquor store.
Yeah. Well, I order it online because it's not usually around.
You can order tequila online? I feel like there's issues in some states getting that stuff.
I mean, maybe some states. New York, you can't have a firearm, but you can have booze shipped to you. I mean, I can't. Where wouldn't you have booze shipped to you? We had booze shipped to us overseas. Shit booze, but
yeah, aircraft bottles. It's like, why does this box labeled as toiletries shake
and rattle?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I've tried to order a bottle of wine, and it gives you a list of states where it can come to, and some can't. I don't know.
That could be because wine and beer are treated differently than liquor, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't understand.
Liquor in Montana is a specific store. You can get wine in grocery stores, but liquor
Is
it's
its own
state
thing?
controlled, isn't it, Michael?
Yeah, you have to go to a liquor store
Yeah, which is like a state.
for anything
State
other than
authority.
wine and beer,
Yeah, I think so.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, New York's
Maybe
the
that's
same
what
way.
it is. Yeah. New York has some weird rules.
Yeah.
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 Snowball fights, all sorts of things.
Bro. I can't. New York City. What the fuck is going on?
Do you have any homies on the force there? Like, what's morale like there?
You know what? I used to talk to some guys. I don't know anybody there like personally. It's like internet friends. You meet, they tell you something
Yeah.
about what's going on. They give you the dirt on like a specific scenario that I'm looking into. But God bless New York City. I don't know, man. Talk about like I know people may feel like 50-50 with unions. They protect the bad ones, you know, but like the people in the union are like, if we didn't have them, like what if New York City didn't have a police union to protect the officers on their force? I don't think New York City would have they would have the most corrupt police force ever. You just have dudes that just wouldn't give a shit. They'd be like, if I get fired tomorrow, whatever, I'll just start moving these boxes with the mafia. Like, I don't know. That's my 2 cents. You could probably give me a whole bunch of reasons of why I'm wrong, but the amount of people that like you need to have some sort of security if you're going to be a New York City cop because the city isn't giving it to you.
I don't understand that dynamic because the city's not going to survive without their services, even though I think this is mostly an internet thing. I think it's really hard to formulate an articulate argument about getting rid of law enforcement or defunding the police because the same people would likely tell you they're going to call 911 if something happens. They're like the least prepared, competent current people in their own ability to sustain and maintain life.
It's just they just do policing with extra steps. We need to get rid of the police. All right, cool. What do you want to do? We want to have private security. All right, so only the rich can have it. Well, no, we'll
So,
buy the
like,
security for the poor
police
too.
that's private. Like you're
Yeah.
just changing words.
And who are the private police going to be held accountable to? Oh, the corporation? Isn't that what you hate, commie? Isn't that what you hate? Corporations now running your security who are going to be upholding them to themselves instead of the mass public, at least in this way. Whether you say it's broken, I don't think it's broken. At least they're held to the accountability of the local populace.
Yeah.
At least you can vote on laws and change things.
Yeah. So what was the, I know that when you came on, but probably even more so when you first went on Unsub, people started paying attention to it. What was the local reaction? Because I mean, as a parent, I would lose my shit if my kids were at a school like that. I didn't know about it. An investigation was done and they're like, yeah, we got all these issues, but yeah, no one's going to get held accountable. We're not going to make any changes. I would lose my mind.
Dude, I think I said it on the I think I said it on my buddy's podcast. But I was like, I don't have kids that go to school in the city of Buffalo. Like, I'm going to have a kid soon. Yay. And he's not going to.
First kid?
Yep. Intense. Very excited. Scared.
Boy, girl.
Proud. Yep. Dick Jr.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Keeping the name going.
Richard.
We're going to call him Chard. He's retarded. So.
Planned?
Forced. You know, the wife wanted to wait until we were married, like officially had the ceremony.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to be 38. So I just helped that along.
There's pros and cons, I think, to having kids when you're older.
Not being able to see them turn 21 is one con.
No, you'll be in your walker or wheelchair, so you can be there. They can push you around and
I refuse. I'll have bionic legs.
wipe your face as you're Stephen Hawking out at their graduation ceremony in high school.
Are there going to be midget strippers there too? Stephen Hawking loves midget strippers.
Well, I think we have to use past tense because I don't believe he's with us anymore.
His spirit still does. Well, I don't think he believes
Did he
in.
like midget strippers?
Yeah, it was in the Epstein thing. He liked dwarves. LPs.
What did you just say? LPEs?
LPs. Little people. Yeah,
I
LPs.
thought you said LPEs. I'm like, where is this going? How much of that stuff do you think is true? There's
Of what? Epstein?
well, and you would know this because it seems like
I would, because I was there. What are you fucking insinuating?
No, they're releasing investigative documents, which are not necessarily verified. They are statements from people that may or may not be true.
Whoa, my God. That's the most common sense thing I've heard about the Epstein files. Thank you. Yes. It's so
just
there's
because I could go to a cop and be like, hey, I just got abducted by aliens.
yeah.
I spent my entire time in a handstand with a choke ball. Yeah, and they had a large wiffle ball bat up my ass.
Color of the wiffle ball bat, sir?
Red, obviously.
Red, of course.
And so,
course.
yeah, that's going to be in an investigative document. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean that what I'm saying is true. And I'm also not trying to diminish the horrible things that have happened to people.
It sounds like that's exactly what you're doing by bringing logical thought into this. How dare you?
Well, how are people and this is the issue.
What happened to the Me Too movement when Epstein's like victims came out and people were like, well, not so much.
Did they come out during the Me Too movement?
There was a couple of them. The one blonde girl that like said Dershowitz or whatever his lawyer diddled her, and she was in like a whole bunch of photos with Prince Albert, whatever the guy's name is.
Well, I think there's a couple things that were in play. I don't think, looking at Epstein, like he was a horrible traitor. And I'm trying to think.
A traitor or traitor? Because he was trading.
Both, but maybe two things can be true.
Yeah.
Multiple T's. Traitor, though, like his skyrocketing into the trading world in New York doesn't really make sense, and how he got into the positions that he did. And people, he was an agent, an intelligence asset for the U.S. I'm like, I don't think he was. And this is just Andy's personal thoughts.
Yeah.
I think he helped move money and launder money for intelligence agencies, which if you're not worried about the return, you can be the most horrendous trader in the world, because the reality is you're just trying to take money from maybe a government bucket and put it into a bucket that you can fund intelligence operations.
Yeah.
I think that's probably likely. I have no evidence to support that, but that makes more sense to me than this triple agent, Mossad, CIA, fill in the blank for whoever might have been manipulating him. And he got really wealthy and got around really wealthy people that can have access to anything that they want, and they start getting really weird. Because, because they have everything already.
Diddy parties, yeah.
And so they start, and I don't think all people are like that, but I also can't fathom a world where anything economically, if you wanted it, it's right there. Like, does that get bored or boring? Maybe. I don't know. Does that, and if you start getting bored, do you start listening to the darkest recesses of your mind and start getting fucking frayed and weird? Maybe. And do those people hang out together? Because maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
So I think there was some tie to the government. I personally, my guess is that he was helping move money, probably to help the CIA facilitate operations. Because if you think about it, we like the CIA, but every other country in the world, they're a criminal organization.
Correct.
All the espionage
Well,
that they're doing is illegal in that country. And if you really want to shut down the CIA, you would do it through purse strings, not by like trying to out all the spies, even though I guess you could do that as well.
Well, that's why they went after USAID. Like, people don't realize USAID wasn't about like actually trying to get transgender.
Some of it was. Not the transgender stuff. I agree with you on that one. A lot of USAID, I think, was doing some good. But then I personally saw USAID money flowing to places like,
Bro,
what?
I was
What? Yeah.
as civil affairs, USAID was our purse strings.
Yeah.
Like that, one of the sayings for, I mean, it's not like everybody talks about civil affairs, but we held the purse strings of the Army because we had USAID. We would go into USAID offices and be like, we need this for a project, right? And for the most part, a lot of projects are goodwill. Look at how great the Americans treat us. Look at how great these forces that support Americans treat us, and then we have friendship via that angle too, right?
And they're like, well, what's this line item? Like, don't worry about that. That's to his subcontractors.
So yeah, the subcontractor stuff, and that's why I brought up like the trans thing is like, there needs to be more trans propaganda in Iran. Do we really support the trans movement in Iran, or are we using that to destabilize Iran?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or it's
that's
just a
what
line
we're
item
doing.
to confuse people, to draw a ton of attention while there's several other ones over in this direction.
Yeah, people caring about, $24,000 to like, it was like Uruguay or something about like trans book reading. You're like, you think that was really for that? I think $2,000 went to trans book reading, and then the other like 22. And even then, $22,000, what are we talking about? We're the United States here.
I need to see the book. So I think there's all of that stuff. So I do think that there was probably a level of him being protected. I mean, the guy got to go and like hang out during the day and sleep in an open prison cell. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? In Florida.
Yeah. So I think 100.
He's like on a work release.
Yeah, it was like he would go there on a Sunday and then like
I think he had to
go
spend
back
the
home.
nights there.
I don't think he did.
Probably not.
I think he showed up during the day and then was released at night and then went to go sleep
I
home.
think it was opposite of that.
Was it?
I think he was out on the day. Michael, God damn it. I heard you typing. He needs to be ahead of us. But again,
Why don't you?
Florida prison.
yes. I'm pretty sure he was just out and about during the day, and he had to do, sleepover time in jail.
See, I'm of the mindset you were like, it's just the money. He's moving it from people to people.
No, I think that's that to me makes more sense than him being Jason Bourne, this ultra secretive, trained, triple agent.
No, I don't think he's an agent. I think he's the center of a spider web and there's a million spider webs out there for the things that you want to get. And he would do that with moving, financials, but then he would also do that with blackmail, which is like the kids.
And I think the government probably
television.
Oh yes. What do we got here?
The closest I can find.
Epstein was allowed to spend most days at his West Palm Beach office and was able to visit his mansion. That's good, despite restrictions on home visits. So, yeah, I think he had to go do evenings there, and I don't even think they actually closed the door.
And this was for like him caught with like kiddos. There was like,
correct.
yeah.
Yeah, this is the charge that, and it's odd that he was able to get the charge as low as he was able to get it. And again, so I do.
Well, like the district attorney at that time was also like somebody that got brought up in like the either Trump's administration or something else too. And then Trump fired him. Like this started to come out, and Trump was like, "Wait a second."
So I think there was some tie, and I do think that some people in the government probably knew whether it's his personal proclivities, and probably turned a blind eye to it, which is fucking rough.
Oh, you mean the guy that can get you anything and get that money anywhere you need it to go?
Yeah.
He's a bad guy? Yeah, but I do need this stuff.
And then think about it too. I mean, I never worked at the agency, and they probably weren't doing it directly from the agency. But if you look at a guy like, all right, this guy actually is going to be a nuclear bomb that goes off at some point, but he's hanging out with all these other people
that we need to get involved
and
with.
now we have a direct point of access via him. And now, maybe he is taking people to them, but he's bringing all these other people too. I could see that being the world. So there's that aspect, but then they release 3 million files. How the fuck is somebody supposed to determine, again, in an investigatory document where there's some crazy stuff that people were saying?
Yeah.
And whether or not people want to believe this, there's crazy people out there that will come after you even if they don't know you. Oh. I've had some limited experiences with that, even just hosting a podcast. Some of the emails that I get, I've had people come here.
To like do what?
I don't know what they wanted to do. But the awesome part was, and I'll speak broadly, this person went to the police station to announce that they were here and got arrested on the spot. I'll tell you more about it off air.
Oh, okay. I've had people message me a bunch of stuff to like, I'm in Nevada and there's like an issue with my schools here, or I'm in the military somewhere and I think I'm being mistreated. And I'm like,
no, this was, you are a member of an international and global
You're Pizzagate?
I think so.
So
that's what this person...
They tried to Pizzagate you, which turns out is a real thing. Anyway.
Aspects of it are real.
Yeah.
It's not in the basement of the pizza parlor in D.C. that doesn't have a basement. And again,
correct.
This is where
people who read into too many things but don't know how to fish through what's real and what's speculative.
Well, I've talked with some people. I've never been on the dark web. I'm aware of things like the Onion browser, Tor, the Onion router and things like that. And people who work in that world who target predators will say, be really careful if you ever go on there with particular search terms. That's one of them. Particular
cheese pizza.
Exactly. They're like, if you ever want to sleep again at night and you are on the fucking dark web, which I don't even know how to get on, do not ever put that in. So there is legitimacy to where that term comes from.
I don't think you go to the dark web for pizza.
Well, and again, they're using a word, recipes. Right? And again, it's just another layer of really thinly veiled of what they're up to. But is that real? Yes. Is that being run by the Illuminati out of the basement of a pizza parlor?
No, it's being run by a whole bunch of people that have a sick, twisted interest. But can people look at that sick, twisted interest and say, I can take advantage of those people that are inside of that thing? Sure. You didn't have to go to the island to know. Yeah. To be like, or I should, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say, you could hang out around Epstein in order to use his influence, but be aware of who he is and go, I ain't going on that island. I know what goes on there, but I am going to go to the other parties that aren't on the island with Epstein. A lot of people were doing that.
Yeah. I think a lot of people were doing that. But again, so there's like, boom, bolus, 3 million files. There's people's names in there that were probably doing that. A little bit aware, staying away from it. There's people's names in there that were probably deeply involved. And then there's some crazy ass stuff in there that people are taking as gospel. And I think that's super dangerous. Because like I said, you know better than anybody. In an investigative file, it doesn't have to be verified. You're writing down what somebody is telling you.
Yeah, but some of these are like emails between
But that's a
Bill
different,
Gates. That's a different form,
I put
right?
that in a different category.
Yes.
But not every
My notes are
accusation-
different than physical evidence.
And so not every accusation in there should be taken as gospel. And people are going through these search terms and just looking for names and like, and some of it's sticky, but it's at the same time like, hey, everybody, not everything in there is real.
You're in the files, aren't you?
I don't know what I don't even think I'm old enough to be in the files. I don't know what I would be in the files for.
You provided security for Mossad agents as they were moving gold bullion and Wayfair furniture that was named the same name as missing
Listen, I'll
children.
be honest with you. I wish I had been because I would have maybe had a sick couch and some gold bullion, of which I have neither.
The couch wasn't a couch. The couch was a child. Boom. Come in, boys. Get him. We've got him. 4chan worked.
I mean, there's a lot of people's names that are in the files.
Yeah.
And so I wonder, does the government blast that out in the hopes that it's so much and that people get so confused that they actually can't pay attention to the shit that's in plain sight?
They can, but here's the great thing about the internet is you're going to have people that come through that and then put it in quick, easy little blurbs so you can digest it like that.
Yeah.
And now,
Do we trust those people?
yeah, there's too many of them.
What if they were a double, triple agent?
It's the numbers game. Like you can't have 30 million, 300 million, whatever documents out there, and then have 20,000 people go through them. And then I believe 1 out of the 20. No, I'll look at however many, I'll look at the majority of them. What do they all have a consensus on? These things are very legitimate.
Yeah.
What's the weirdo that throws away everything say? Well, if he throws away everything, but these 5 points are something he 100% unequivocally says are real, ooh, interesting. And then you've got the other people that say take everything at face value. So
I hope there's some level of accountability. It's interesting to watch government leaders in every country except for the U.S. Losing their career. Do you see the picture of, I don't think his name is Prince Andrew anymore. It's like Mountbatten, Sir Windsor, whatever his name is.
Mountbatten?
What do they call Prince Andrew? It is. It's like
Mountbatten, Windsor or something.
Yeah, Mounted Bottom.
Yeah, I like Mountbatten. He's mounting some bottoms.
Have you seen the picture of him in the back of the car when they arrested him?
I think I did. He's like,
It was the arrival of the dildo of consequences, and it was
rarely comes lubed.
rarely, if ever, comes lubed. And let's pull it up, Michael. Let's share
Is
this.
this the one you're talking about?
Yes. Oh! He looks like he's about to yell, Avada Kedavra.
Oh, God. And then what was his ex-wife's name? Ferguson. She's checked herself into an extended stay rehab that's like $17,000 a day. Out of the country of UK, though. And there's been, look at that.
Dude, he looks like Lord Voldemort, about to maybe the kids were his Horcruxes. He just read a bunch of Harry Potter.
That dildo of consequences is into the shaft.
I like how he's arrested, but he's still in fine white leather seats in the back of whatever escort he's in.
I saw an article, and I want this to be desperately true, but in this day and age, I take everything with a grain. The title of it was Sir Mounted Bottom is destroyed because he can no longer participate in his favorite activity. So I'm fucking clicking on that 100%, just based off what I've heard. Take a guess as to what is emotionally, in this article, allegedly destroying him. He's no longer able to do. He feels is taking away from his quality of life.
He's no longer, he can't get an erection anymore.
He can't ride horses through the countryside. We live in different worlds than these people.
Dude, that's on a much smaller scale. That's like one reason why I'm hesitant to stop being a cop or continue to serve, even in the reserve aspect as a drill sergeant. Because I'm like, nothing brings you back down to earth like having some fat, uneducated bitch scream in your face about why you're not doing enough to like arrest her baby daddy that has been beating the shit out of her for the past 20 years that she never shows up to court for. There's like, I'm constantly humbled by the job. You know what I mean? So like, I can't go, I'm better than all this. I make YouTube videos. It does not occur.
I don't know how you do your job, man. It takes a special personality. You actually are one of the more positive officers that has been at it.
Yeah.
Most of them that I know, and this isn't negative against him, they have this, because of It's either the repeat customers or what it is they deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah.
It's not an apathy. It's just their emotional range towards everybody else they're in life with is very, very muted.
That's why I do therapy. I have to, because I will get, you're a victim of a crime, right? And I'm an SVU. So domestic violence, sexual assault, right? All that stuff. I have to be, I don't have to be sympathetic, maybe sympathetic, I guess, not empathetic because I don't have to feel, but I have to be very calm and I have to listen and I have to accept and I can't go, that's fucking bullshit. This is the third time you've been here for the same guy in the past 8 months. You don't do anything. I can't do that. I can't level the playing field. And
What would happen if you did?
I would get complaints probably. Can't have those. The internet then looks at your police history and says, he's had 30 complaints. Yeah, that's, yeah.
Is that true?
Oh, yeah. I got investigated by the AG's office because I got 5 complaints in 2 years, which was like,
Those are rookie numbers.
dude, I've got like 28 complaints, which is like a good amount. It's on the higher end, I guess, for my department.
Yeah.
But it's because I was a jump out boy. What happens when you're a jump out boy? I'm not going to a 911 call. I'm proactive and looking for trouble, right? And then when I find trouble, it's usually the same players. And what do they want to do? Well, they want to discredit me and they want to get one over on me. Why? Because they're bad guys.
Yeah, they know the game too.
They're the 1% of like the population of the United States where they've accepted that they're a criminal. They're going to live the criminal aspect. They don't care about our laws or what we think of them. So who cares if they're on the news for shooting somebody or selling dope and an overdose kills somebody? They don't care. So, and I don't know if you know this, but I look white. So bald, whitish looking guy, you know, it's easy to go, he's racist. Yeah, he pulled me over because I'm Spanish. I'm like, okay, in the middle of the night with your dark tints when I'm 2 blocks away, I knew you were a Spaniard, sir. I said, por favor, once to a guy because he wasn't talking to me or looking at me. I was like, identificación, por favor, ID, por favor. And he was like, what? What'd you say? I said, oh, please, get your ID, please. He's like, you said Spanish to me. I'm like, you're Spanish. You're Puerto Rican. Racist. So a lot of those complaints are that.
It is wild that those will end up in your record. Something
Oh,
like
forever.
that.
Forever. Yeah. Even if it says, and this is why you can't hate the media enough, even though it says in my record, like, oh, he's been expunged of this. This was
Yeah, that's not the headline.
This was bad. No.
That's the correction several days later.
Well, it's not even. No, it's never even the correction. They don't say what was expunged or what wasn't expunged, but what was like proven to be false, or that it was completely legal, or it's on body cam and this person lied. No, they just go 28 internal affairs investigations. Bum bum bum.
Yeah, discredit everything that he says going forward.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll ever get any level of accountability for the Epstein stuff? I also heard he's still alive. He's living in a condo in Boca.
There's so many people that look like him. I mean, I think he's dead. Like, it's kind of hard to kill a guy in a cell, whether it's suicide or not, and then
Interesting
have him
cellmate that he was with.
get away. What's that?
Interesting cellmate they paired him with.
Hillary Blinton?
No, it was like, Michael, can you pull up?
He had a cellmate?
Yeah. That he had reported attempted to kill him days before he killed himself. Can you pull up the stats on his cellmate?
I mean, do you think that Epstein was ever going to say anything?
I don't know. Let me see here.
I think that Tartaglione.
Tartaglione shared a cell with Epstein in July
I think it was
2019.
Tartaglione.
Around
Definitely
3
not.
weeks before his death.
Life in prison for a quadruple homicide. Was this
Yeah.
like an Italian gangster?
That was his cellmate. Why would you not put it? Well, I don't know.
I'm
Because,
surprised he wasn't in protective custody in like a cell with nothing.
well, that's tougher to accidentally kill yourself.
I'm glad he's dead, but it would have been nice to get some information if he would have given anything. I don't think he would have said shit, though. What are you going to do? You're going to sit him down with an interrogator like day after day after day like we did? It took Saddam Hussein like a year and a half to admit that he never had any weapons of mass destruction. He just did it as posturing against Iran and didn't even say all that. I read the book about the interviewer that interviewed him for like a year and a half. And like the end result that came of it was he was like, he said something to the effect of like, well, how else would I keep them outside of my border? And then he realized what he said and was like, and shut up again. A year and a half just to get that. So then you'd be like, oh, there are no WMDs. It was just posturing to keep Iran outside of the border.
Man, So you're a guy in those shoes. Let's just say that my hypothesis, which is completely all it is, or
About-
conjecture about who he is and what he did.
About Jeffrey?
Yeah, let's say it was true. What would he have to lose spilling his guts at that point? Like he's gonna. Well, you're on an egg timer anyway, buddy.
Right, yeah.
You're going into the federal system. You are not gonna live.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know for sure, but I've heard that because he already had a conviction for essentially pedophilia. I've heard they don't get treated particularly well behind the bars.
Yeah,
There's
but
a
if you-
hierarchy of people they sharpen their teeth on.
Dude, MS-13 is run from inside of prisons.
Yeah.
Like, you're telling me that he doesn't have like some sort of guy that he's worked with that like owns people that are in prison for doing work and they protect
he
him
might
or
get
kill
some
him?
Egyptian cotton sheets, right? Which maybe that makes a better noose that you tie around your own neck with strangulation marks that have nothing to do with the sheet. I'm just saying.
Nothing like going into hell in style.
What? I mean, God, that is a fascinating one. I wonder if he would have spilled his guts.
You would have had to have somebody that's very technically proficient in interviewing talk to him.
Or a guy who just doesn't care anymore. Like he knows his run is over. Like I think at that point he realized like the gig was up.
No, because even then he still has power. He still has all the information. He still knows all the points of contact. People still need him more than they need him to shut up.
And a lot of people really wanted him to keep his mouth shut. So he either needed to die or get removed from that situation.
Yeah. No, even though he's locked up, he still has an immense amount of power to move things or talk to people.
I think what people forget too is that, let's say my conjecture and hypothesis is real. He's not the only one who does that. There's probably countless other people who are doing exactly the same thing.
He's the only one that messed up and got caught banging a kid. And then
You think he's the only one potentially funneling money and cleaning money for intelligence aid? Like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
There's a full criminal wing somewhere at an investment firm, in my mind at least, in the fictional movie that plays in my head. That, it's one of...
Can you fly in that movie? I would.
Like with a cape?
Yeah. You don't even need a cape. You just fly.
That would be pretty dope.
Yeah.
That would
You
be
can just
pretty dope.
pick him up and just like drop him and catch him each time.
That'd be a good way to get the info,
Right?
you know? Till you were a little bit off your game.
Well, that's why you do it over water, right?
Depending on the height, it doesn't really matter. Water will have the surface temperature or surface tension of concrete.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's why we always go below that. You know, unless you had a couple cocktails. You're like, I can catch him.
Yeah. God.
Shit, Jeff's gone.
It is fascinating to me to see other countries holding people accountable. Mm-hmm. And in this country, it's just like, yeah, whatever.
You know, when you have this amount of freedom, it is... I don't want to say it's a dangerous amount of freedom, but it kind of is, right?
Freedom is very dangerous.
Freedom is extremely dangerous. And when you have the system that we have, where you have this very vast amount of freedom, you will have people use that system, use that freedom to try and entrap other people, you know, limit other people's freedoms while they get more. I'm waiting for like the shoe to drop for like Civil War 2.0. I don't think it's going to happen during our lifetimes. I think there's going to have to be some sort of egregious thing. And hopefully the checks and balances like kind of prevents that. Our right to protest is huge, right? Pulling people back from politics, you know, and I forget what that term is where you vote somebody in, a recall election. I think those are important, but I don't want to say it's inevitable, but I'm conscious of the fact that at some point there could be a time where the United States ends up in some sort of conflict within itself because people are getting taxed too much and people aren't listening.
Were you sitting in on the episode yesterday with Greg?
No.
Because he gets furious.
With taxation? Brother, I'm in New York State. Are you fucking kidding me? Listen, I like the town that I live in.
Yeah.
My taxes, because of the home that I own, is $14,000. That's
Annually?
yeah.
Damn, so we're talking $1,200 a month? That's
That's not the school taxes. The school taxes are another $7,000 on top of that. $21,000 to live where I live. And I'm telling you, I'm thinking about moving because I don't know if I can afford that anymore.
And you know what's wild? Even if you own that house outright, that tax isn't stopping.
No,
So
no,
you
it's
are
based
paying-
on
yeah.
your property and how much it's valued at. So that can go up. Like property tax is insane to me.
Here's a good one from yesterday. Greg was, you could see veins in his forehead when we started talking about this. Washington State, where he lives, at his gym. He is $100,000 into some like permitting process, and his latest hurdle that he has to get over is the proper parking space to shrubbery ratio.
Dude.
At his gym. He has to buy $20,000 worth of like trees and shrubs. And what was the flowers? Bougainvilleas or something like that?
I'll think of it.
Bougainvillea
I'll think of it in a
He
second.
was losing his money. He's like, 20,000. He is being forced to spend 20 G's on shrubbery for the parking spot to shrubbery ratio.
And you want to know who goes for those civil, like, common council meetings? Like, I'm the head of the common council for the city of such and such. I determine whether or not that permit is losers. Losers. People who don't have their own business and aren't smart enough to create something. And they go, I'll go into fucking politics. You know what I'll do? I'll sit in front of a bench, even though I have absolutely no experience when it comes to like city planning or construction. And I'll be like, we need to have more bushes. There's a really good clip of some dumb broad in
Super sexist.
and in California, I think it's Los Angeles, and she's doing an interview with somebody of some larger media thing like CNN or something like that, and she's talking about there's this company that wants to build a property, right? And she's like, I can't force them to do A and B, but I can request A, B, and C for permitting, and I can make them do it in a different way. And what she was basically saying is, instead of a 5-level structure, I'm going to make it 3, and I have to make it mixed use. It has to be mixed use, and then there has to be a certain amount of parking spaces, and there also has to be a certain amount of green space. And what she does is she basically just kills this company's ability to build a new building, and she's bragging about how she can stonewall all of this stuff from happening unless they meet her demands. And I'm like, and it's almost verbatim, I can stop them from doing it unless they meet these demands. Ooh.
Another one from yesterday. When Greg was building his gym, it was a grass lot, but they identified that buttercups grew on his lot, which made it a wetland. So they forced him, it was 3,000 square feet, I think. They forced him to purchase an additional 3,000 square feet of wetland that would be preserved forever before he was allowed to build his gym on top of the other wetland area because it was buttercups. He said there's a field of grass that he used to mow on his riding lawnmower. Michael, can you look this up? Because I think people have forgotten this. George Washington came across the Delaware to murder people on Christmas Eve over, I believe, a 3% tax.
Yeah. Was it Haitian Haitian
Yeah, what was the tax rate that essentially the Revolutionary War began over? Taxation without representation.
It was like a 1 or 2% tax on tea, sugar, and
That's
something
what
else.
I'm saying. And now we're talking about what we're talking about is so far above and beyond anything even remotely like that.
20%, dude. 20%. Oh, you make over $1 million? We're going to tax that at 30%. What? Do you know how many people make over $1 million? Not enough for that shit.
Yeah. And actually, what I would imagine is that then what you're going to end up doing is playing in the same tax system that people complain about, right? And I'm all about changing the tax code if we can agree upon that, but also don't bitch to those who are really good at playing inside of the tax code that it is the way that it is, right?
Oh, that's why I just want a flat tax. 5% flat tax. That's it.
Even
Doesn't matter where you
10,
live, whatever.
totally.
5%.
Yeah, 1 to 1.5% tax at the time. The dude came across the river on Christmas Eve to murder motherfuckers
Yeah.
and start a revolutionary war over 1.5% tax.
Yep.
And you're talking 20% tax, 30% over $1 million. What that does is it makes people either A, take the money out of that state, or they're never going to make over $1 million because they're going to hide it
just
inside
stop.
of the tax. Well, they'll hide it inside of the tax system, or they will do exactly what you're saying. They could have growth and they'll say, why?
Yeah.
Why do I want to try to make $3 million so I can have 1 in my bank account?
Yeah.
And I'll be the first person to admit, yeah, there is inequity, and people younger in life probably look at that and like, well, what's the big deal about a 30% tax? Like, fast forward in your life 2 to 3 decades, and you're going to be on the other side of that argument when you're at a place where you're looking to make that much money. And maybe you want to reinvest back in the community, but you're going to lose that money via taxes, which I'd be okay with them raising our taxes if they could show me they were a good steward of our money.
Oh. You know what?
That's all it would take. I'd be like, you know what? You are doing a great job. Educational system is fantastic. Infrastructure is great. Our power grid is protected. Communication infrastructure looking good. Cops are well paid. But instead, they're like, listen, we can't show you any of that. But we just need some more money, and that will be the solution. And you can just fuck right off into the sunset with that mentality.
I'm tired of the government taking my money and spending it on shit that I don't use.
Well, where would you go? Like, so if you're looking, would you just move to a different?
Here, there's an
county?
island that's open.
It's true. This car's got some tunnels and a lot of cameras. But where, like, are you going to leave New York? Where are you going to go?
Yeah.
I think you'd go north, wouldn't you? Across the border.
Ew, gross. To like 60% tax rates? Are you retarded?
I don't know. It's just an idea.
Their tax is horrible. Their Medicare is balls ugly. It's like,
But would you leave New York? Because then you'd have to leave your job.
yeah, I don't want to leave my job. I love Buffalo. The city of Buffalo is cool.
Can you play with different counties with the tax rate, or is it kind of just like that all in New York?
No, in fact, the city of Buffalo's got low taxes. I shouldn't be saying this because people will move there and they'll ruin it like they do all the other states. Buffalo is a blue city, but it's got red roots.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
There's a couple. Well, Montana has some blue cities with red roots. Missoula and Bozeman are good examples. They're the college towns.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks Montana is like you get issued a 6-shooter and a Confederate flag, which is not the case whatsoever.
Not anymore. And I'm bringing it back with Andy's run for Congress.
I actually have been hit up for that. I wouldn't be against it. I would not want to do that to my family. If it was just
The move?
No, the running for political office. Like, if you want to try to destroy me and my character, that's fine. You
Yeah.
want to bring my family into this, I'm out, man. Like, they didn't sign up for that. They didn't deserve that, you know?
I'd like to, but politics has become so politics. But back to the tax thing, the one thing that pisses me off most about tax is the death tax. Oh, hey, you're dead.
the
You've
inheritance
paid
tax?
all your tax.
Yeah.
You've done everything. You've saved up this lump of money for your family. We're going to tax the shit out of that. It was like 40%. It's something
Why
insane.
would you care? You're gone.
Because it's not for me. I'm just saving it up. How dare you?
Well, and then what do people do to get around that? They
Create LLCs. They
Yes,
create trusts. Like, that's why I
and
like
then
a
people
flat
bitch,
tax.
People bitch about the system. It's like, listen, the system and what people are doing are a byproduct of what you're forcing them into.
Yeah.
I remember being 20 and thinking that $1 million was the most amount of money that any human being has ever made, and somebody driving a nice car. And your initial first thought is, fuck you. Like, how can you have that and I don't? And then I grew up a little bit.
Oh, mine was always like, I wonder how I can get that. How do I get there? How do I get there?
But then probably for me too, but at the same time, I was like, I hate you at the same moment. Like, you have something I don't, and I don't understand how you're going to get that. And probably definitely didn't come from hard work. Who's your sugar daddy or who you inherit that from? And now I'm like, dude, I totally get it. It's a completely different perspective. I see what they're trying to do. And yeah, it's easy for somebody who is a barista at a coffee shop to say Elon Musk should pay 90% tax because he'll still have $15 trillion or whatever he has. That, for that one particular individual, okay, cool. I guess I can understand that argument. But dude, it's not the answer, because giving our government more money hasn't really proven to work out. Yeah.
Ever. Income tax was supposed to be, or income, I think it was income tax, was supposed to be temporary because of World War I or II.
Yeah.
And then they were like, right, we can still get more money. And
Let's just play games. Like, you want more tax? DOD has to pass an audit.
it never will, though, because it needs that black
know.
money. It needs black money in order
That's
to get
why
some
we're
shit
never going
done.
to have additional tax, because if they want to play that stupid game, I'm going to play the stupid game back. You're
going to be a great battalion commander in the revolution.
I'm retired.
Yeah, you say that. You're going to be like, what's that called?
I'm going to be on the 5th Donkey Battalion. I would want to have 2 donkeys, and I would have a foot on each, and I would stand up with my flag over my shoulder.
Oh, I like it. What was It's going to be like the Patriot. You're just going to get drugged back into it.
God, I don't want to at all.
It's okay. It's okay. We'll both be brigade command. Would you like that? Would you like a
I don't know what that means. I don't speak Army. I would be. Is that like an admiral?
fleet? No, that's not a fleet.
Fleet would be like 5th Fleet. That's like
brigade?
a multi-star admiral.
It'd be your captain. So brigade would be, it's a full bird
06?
colonel for us.
06?
Yeah.
That's usually like the CO of a SEAL team, commanding officer of a SEAL team.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be in charge of a SEAL team. You would be in charge of like more land-filled elements. Or maybe, oh man, you would be like our maritime commander?
I want to give land elements, but like move more to the
The
start.
Gulf of Stump. Do you like that? You like that?
It's not bad.
Not bad.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
I would give land troops naval to like move more starboard.
Ooh. That's to the right. Port is to the left because it has the same number of letters.
Not everybody would understand. It would be a tactic that the enemy could not handle because it would make no sense whatsoever. It would just be like,
Were you ever a part? Do you remember when the Navy took over AFRICOM? And
after my time.
okay, so the Navy took over AFRICOM, and there was a really big issue with
You mean by like just the senior person was in the Navy, or like the Navy infrastructure rolled in there and like took over the HQ?
I believe the naval infrastructure took over AFRICOM for a short period of time.
Okay.
It's one or the other, but I'm pretty sure that naval infrastructure took over AFRICOM for a while, at least in the Horn of Africa. And there's a really big issue with like we use, oh my gosh, with the MGRS military grid coordinate system.
Military grid reference system.
Yeah. So we use that, and you guys would use like different mapping systems?
Never.
And sometimes that would like not mesh?
No, it's
I've
always
heard, like,
MGRS and then what's the datum?
Somebody lied to me.
WGS 84.
Somebody lied to me. Somebody lied to me and said that like the Navy was really fucking up, especially when it came to like grid coordinates
And you
maps.
believed it because you're in the Army and you just didn't want to believe.
I psyoped an entire country of soldiers that were in Iraq to thinking that we were going to paint our desert camo Humvees the blue grid pattern on our ACUs.
That would be pretty dope.
I did that. Me and my friend did that. We spread that rumor all over, and then it came back to us like 6 or 8 months later through like not our people. And they were like, hey, a couple months.
That's an interesting thought exercise. Let's have people who are working on gray naval vessels in the ocean in a combination of blue and black camouflage. So if they fall overboard, the odds of seeing them are less than 0.
Did you know that if some of them, their uniforms hit water, they would turn like orange or something so you could see it?
You know that's a lie, right?
Yeah, and I was gonna be like, how do they wash it? Like, so what happens when they wash it? They just like, it loses it after like one wash?
It's cold water. Oh, so you'd have
This is why I get a hot water wash it. That way when you fall in the cold water, then the dye comes out.
Correct. Yeah, I remember when they went to that uniform, I was thinking, well, I mean, first of all, I was never on a ship, so it didn't really impact
Why
me.
did we change? Why did all branches just decide we want to get our own camo now? We all used to have woodland camo, my fantastic hoodie that you saw me walk in with.
That was what I got issued when I first got it. It's spectacular. Same. Yeah, chocolate chips. I don't know.
That's not chocolate chip.
No, that's old school woodland. Sorry,
Yeah.
chocolate chip were the desert of that era as well.
Correct.
That is a good question. Why did they do that? Kashish? September is an interesting month in the government.
Yeah.
Spend
We got to hurry up and spend this money. We'll never get it back. That's not how it works.
It's not how it works, but I've never seen it tested.
Dude.
I've never seen it tested because September, when I was a supplier.
The Marine Corps passes its audit every year. Did you know that? The Marine Corps is the only branch in the DOD, DOW that has passed audits.
Really?
They spend, or I don't want to say pass audits, but they spend less money than they're allotted for like the past several years. The Marine Corps does not have that issue.
Yeah, but the Marine Corps doesn't mess around though either.
Correct. Wouldn't it be great if like none of us messed around?
Yes.
Wouldn't it be
I
great?
actually think that's what we are. I think that's what we owe the citizens of this country, specifically since we're taking so much of their goddamn money.
Yeah, or their kids and putting them through basic training. Dude, when Hegseth said, I'm going to allow drill sergeants to put hands on troops again, not beat the shit out of the troops, but grab them, shake them, shove them, throw them, right?
Yeah.
I was like, some people never stopped.
What are your thoughts on changing it from DOD to DOW?
I like it. I mean, it's a name change, but I think the name change is important because it kind of sets like your attitude.
Yeah.
Right. I know it's a dumb old like general or your battalion commander that comes in. I don't know what a battalion commander is for you, but they're like, we need a slogan, and we're going to stand by the slogan of the unit, right? Because that's the mindset, the morale of the.
Oh, I don't think we were allowed to have slogans.
Didn't have like a slogan, like a team slogan, like Kill 'Em All or Rasputin. I don't know.
No.
You know, like nicknames for your group.
You
were just all first and second SEAL.
No, like
and that was it.
At the platoon level, I guess maybe you could do like a hat or a T-shirt for like the 16 guys.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying like each platoon had its own nickname, but you would have.
No, but at our level, that's what it was. So I'm talking. So for us, platoon it was an operational element at a SEAL team. You'd have probably 8 at a SEAL team, and that's like 16 guys. So they could be like, or Jocko would be a good example. Task Unit Bruiser. That actually is one of the only nicknames for an element that I'm really even aware of. It just wasn't.
But is unit just that one team of 16 dudes, or is unit like a combination? Like
it'd be like SEAL Team 3. Everybody, you're just assigned to SEAL Team 3 or SEAL Team 1.
Whatever. Either way, I feel like Department of War kind of sets the mindset. Defense is the National Guard. That's what you're there for, guarding.
Yeah.
Department of War is exactly that. Hey, we're war. Why are the Navy SEALs worried about defense of military structures? We should be worried about offense. I mean, we should obviously be thinking about both, but the capabilities of the Department of Defense, which I don't even know when it changed its name, but it's been
This year or last year, right? 2025?
no. I mean, when it changed from Department of War to Department
To
of Defense.
DOD, yeah. I don't know either.
Get on that.
Yeah, when did it go? Because it originally was the DOW, then it went to the DOD, and then back.
Correct, because the Eisenhower building is the old DOW.
Yeah, people have been very up in arms about it. I can't really.
It's so aggressive. Yeah, I didn't really. We kill people. Like that's the point of it. That's what war. That's what combat is.
Yeah, I couldn't really find any reason to get emotionally attached to it either way. I was like, all right, first off,
1949.
what time?
1949.
So after World War II.
Yeah, after the Un and the Deuce. What would your civil affairs job been in the Deuce? Crawling through fucking plunging machine gun fire and minefields?
No, probably would have been pretty similar to what I'm doing. What I did was probably a small team, 4-man team attached to an infantry element, like a battalion-size element, and then trying to win over the local populace and bring in passive intelligence gathering about like Nazi stuff. So that would work really well in like France, where you had like a counter. Where you had an insert, I guess you would say it's an insurgency and fighting against the Germans. And we work really closely with that. Yeah. See where they needed assistance and see where they would need backing, and then take that information and pass it up the chain of command to not just line units but also soft forces. We didn't have any. Had the Rangers back then, but there was no real soft element. You just kind of had the beginnings. A group of dudes, which I kind of love and miss. Like, just here's a group of dudes. You know what I want to talk about?
No.
20 years. 20 years of war, GWAT, right?
So I've been told.
Where are the battlefield commissions?
I'm not aware of any.
Zero. I can't think of a single one. You're telling me an E6 that like did some awesome shit wasn't like, yo, battlefield commission, you rock, you've got it. What's going on, Lieutenant? We'll get you to OCS later on, but you're a leader of men. Where the fuck did that happen? Now you got to be a part of like the rich boy club and you have to start as an officer, or I'm going to make the decision for myself and choose to go be an officer. You can't just have a good NCO or officer above you and say, this guy's a shit hot troop. Let's get him fucking promoted.
I think we had more people in the military or a more entrenched officer structure.
Back then, and that's why?
In the GWAT.
I mean, I just think of it as like a capability thing. You are more capable than other people I've seen around you. Yeah. You should be in a leadership position. Even if the good old boy system is gone.
Michael, look up if battlefield commissions are still possible in the modern military. That would have been pretty dope.
Yeah.
I feel like it wasn't used because I feel like the officer corps was more staffed in the GWAT, to be honest.
Which is another issue.
Yeah. I think
so many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah. I don't know if they would like to be described in that way. Formal battlefield commissions are extremely rare in modern U.S. military compared to the Deuce or Korea. No major instances since Vietnam.
But we reinstated battlefield promotion system.
So it says in extreme circumstances. Yeah.
But that was for sergeant. That's for enlisted men. Battlefield promotions still happen, but
and
not
that's a
battlefield
weird one in the
commissions.
Army. Aren't there like 3 different versions of the E4?
That used to be it. So specialists used to be kind of like a warrant officer.
Yeah.
Where you were in a specific field and you could be like a Spec 7, which is basically like an E7, but with specialist rank and like 4 or 5 stripes above it.
Yeah.
But they got rid of the Spec, whatever it was, and they made those positions warrant officer positions.
So the field commission to second lieutenant, which that's a gold bar, right, in the Army, that would be an ensign in the Navy, allows for battlefield promotions for enlisted soldiers, E1 to E5. Interesting, it excludes E6 to E9, probably because they're already in a leadership position or considered to be.
Yeah.
Soldier must typically be in a combat zone, serving in a high demand position like the 2IC or second in command or platoon sergeant, and show extraordinary performance. Green to gold, which is the alternate program, which you kind of mentioned, but that's that person's choice if they choose to go through that.
Yeah.
The modern military avoids this practice because they prefer officers to have formal training. I became an officer at the 12-year mark. I received no additional formal training. I went from
I thought you were always enlisted.
I did 12 years enlisted, 5 years as an officer.
Gross. How'd you like that?
It was amazing because I understood how the system worked.
Oh, interesting. So more, I would say that's an argument for battlefield commissions.
I have 0 college. I went from being an E6 to an O1.
Oh, so you weren't, which sounds perfect to me. Yeah. You don't need college to be a good leader in the military.
How dare you? You can refer to me as sir if you like. But
brother, I'm an E6 with 21 years in.
Yeah.
I don't play that shit. I got scolded by an E7. I was like, hey, what's up? And I just said their last name.
Yeah.
And they were like, what'd you say? I was like, I said, good morning. And they're like, what? I was like, then I said their last name. They're like, Sergeant so-and-so. I was like, ha, okay.
This was in mixed company or in private?
No, this was one-on-one, just passing the person. And I was like,
Dude.
cool, gave you the greeting of the day. We're one rank away from each other. You're at E7, I'm at E6. Like, shut the fuck up.
I used to like when I was an ensign saluting other ensigns to make them uncomfortable.
We had a Navy JG, Deluzio, who came with us my second tour. And he was a ring knocker, if I'm not mistaken.
Which means an academy grad.
Yep. And to get attached to a civil affairs unit was a big deal back then. I don't think it was anything that the Navy was like fighting for, but when you're attached to a land unit, the Army, as a naval officer, it's obviously a big deal. Mm-hmm. And so he was like one of the top like 5 JGs in like the Navy. And so he gets attached to us and he's got an E7 with him and a bomb Navy corpsman. And the E7, the chief, and the JG were very pomp and circumstance Navy guys. I'm a chief in the Navy. I'm an officer in the Navy. And you come onto the ground forces with us, reservists at that, who've been there before and done the thing. And so what ended up happening, there was like a little bit of a learning curve there where they were like...
I think you mean wheels of the gears flying off.
So, no, we controlled it pretty well.
I'm not saying the wheel was destroyed. I'm saying it was reshapen.
There was some grinding, but we lubed it up and then we made it work. So there was an issue with like customs and courtesies, and one of them was saluting. That naval chief, was like, stand up, parade rest. We're like, listen, you're in the headquarters element of this. You're actually taking care of the line unit guys, or the guys that are going on missions. You might want to ease that tone real quick there. E7. All right, because E7s and E6s here are the same thing. This ain't the Navy. And the JG was, a little uptight because naval guy. So he wanted to be saluted and have the proper customs and courtesies allotted to him. So for a week, when we would go to chow, we would separate ourselves by 10 or more paces. And everybody forcing him to salute us each time.
Of course.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Until his arm got tired. And the other thing we would do is, civil affairs and PSYOPs work together. Our schools, our training is this, we train with one another in our advanced individual training on Bragg. And although we go to our different classes, we're trained together, and there's a lot of overlap, especially with like intelligence gathering or trying to get people to think the way that you want them to think and move them in a direction. And one of the things is like public perspective. We're very aware of like what does the outside look at this individual incident. And what my buddy would do is, let's say that you're the JG that he's talking to, and he'd be sitting here talking to you, blah, blah, back and forth, and like somebody would like 30 yards would come out of a building and start like walking around, is he would just get down in the push-up position. 1, sir. 2, sir. And so that every time there was like anybody like 50 feet, 100 feet, like, why is that Navy dude dropping an Army sergeant, an NCO? What is going on? So it made him look bad.
It's just a self-correcting ecosystem.
Yeah, so we did that.
I mean, let's be honest. The number 1 Lieutenant JG in the Navy is a direct analogy to winning a gold medal at the Special Olympics.
Yeah, man.
It's awesome, but just different.
Yeah.
And I mean no disrespect to either party associated in that.
Yeah, don't talk about the Special Olympics community.
Totally. I don't mean to associate
JG.
those amazingly happy Special Olympic athletes with...
Yeah.
You got a guy to denigrate them by associating them with the number 1 Lieutenant JG, the O2 that has been in the Navy the longest or considers himself to be the best.
The number 1 O2.
Yeah.
01, O2.
It was helpful, man, having that 12 years of experience and hopping over at E6. It's really hard for people to bullshit you.
Oh, yeah.
And you can just sit there. You don't have to say much because you can just sit there and listen. And then afterwards you're like, no, yes, moving on.
My favorite thing is I have, I don't want to say I wear my emotions on my sleeve.
You do.
Okay, thank you. But I've got like a rubber face. Like I emote. And sometimes it's intentionally. I don't have to say anything. I can just go,
yeah.
And that look right there is, are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that? And some people will go, I'm not sure about that. And they'll pull back.
That's the move.
Yeah.
Especially if the person has more experience than you. And especially if they're doing that to you maybe right before you make a complete and utter ass of yourself and just whip your dick out and step all over it. And not literally, obviously. That would be
Hot. Oh, horrible.
tough to deal with.
Yeah. You really got to wash it.
Yeah. Oh, man. How long are you going to be able to do the reserve thing?
I might pick up 7 this year. There's a rumor that I might have got it.
Does that mean you'll be prohibited from doing your current job?
No. It's just an up in rank. I'm already in my drill sergeant unit in my company of a dozen or so drill sergeants. I'm the senior drill sergeant, which is odd considering that I'm an E6. It's an E7 position. Yeah. And we just had 2 E7s come in from different units that are now like, hey, I moved to the area. I'm continuing my service as a drill sergeant. I have to go to this unit. So we got like 2 E7s there that I'm in charge of as the senior drill sergeant. So it's a little weird. If I get the 7, which I hope I do, then it would be more appropriate that I'm now leading E7s.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you have positional authority over them.
Correct.
What do you think people get wrong about drill sergeants? There's a lot of misconceptions, mostly probably formulated around Full Metal Jacket.
Whoa, what do you mean? So I don't know. I don't want to say because I'm a good drill sergeant, but because I am a drill sergeant in the way that I have been.
In your face, physical punishment, and that's a broad word anyway. People would even say being yelled at is physical punishment because words are violence.
I blow my voice out every time I go down on the trail. Like every time I go down on the trail, I blow my voice out. It just happens. I try not. There's different strategies, right? And you can change up the strategy from one day to the next if you want. But you do need some consistency. One of the strategies is you could be the kill hat, which I've always kind of been. And that's the bad guy, always the disciplinarian, any small infraction and everybody's paying for it, period, which you need because then they start fixing each other. And if they don't, well, then they just get strong together.
Yeah.
But there's a sense of unity where.
Call that a win-win.
Right. Where I'm the bad guy, right? Where I'm okay with being the bad guy and the bane of their existence. And you could do that in different ways. You could be loud, which I've been, where you're the loud screamer and you're pointing everything out. You could be the quiet guy that goes, oh, okay. Front leaning rush position move. Sweet.
The remainder of your life.
Go run up that hill. Yep. Come on back. That's good enough. Or, and this is unique to me, is like the weird sadistic one where I will be extremely sarcastic and demeaning in my tone. Like, oh, but you're just doing what you want to do, right? Yeah. Hey, everybody, Private Brown wants to do what he wants to do. Good job. Good job, Private Brown.
They're not going to know how to deal with that.
Oh, they break. I did that last time on the trail. I got really sarcastic because there was a lot of attitudes down there.
What is this on the trail?
Is
this the Oregon Trail where you have to ford the river?
Some people do dive dysentery.
Yeah. Let me tell you who doesn't get that reference.
I actually do get that reference.
Shut up, Boomer.
You play Oregon Trail?
I never played it, but I know what it is.
That's shocking. Kid's never seen the Boondock Saints.
Oh, that's cinema. That's a pro movie, too.
He finally watched Terminator 1 after I referenced it as a potential future documentary enough times. He's like, oh, yeah, I went and watched it.
It's all right. I prefer 2. 2's where it's at.
I haven't seen 2. I just thought 1 was okay. It wasn't like anything crazy
It sets the world for 2, which I think pummels it.
We'll have to watch 2 now.
Yeah, you should. So anyway, you're on the trail, the Oregon Trail, fording the river, dysentery.
2 oxen, I broke an axle. And the trail is basic training. It's called the trail as a nickname because basic training used to be a circle. You'd start at one point in a trail that was beaten down from all the previous graduating classes, and you would go from one spot to the other, camping outside, until you usually would go around the post or an area of the post, and then you would end where you began. But once you've circled back at the end of the trail, you would graduate basic training.
Is this, but you're like meeting the kids on the school bus type stuff?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes it's pickup day. I've done pickup days.
How's that?
I try to make it as intense as I can.
Is it just eyes wide open from those kids? Or in the air of information, do they kind of have a little bit of a better idea what they're getting into?
So, no. There's always, you can always like watch a movie and get it, but you don't really get the stress until you're surrounded by it.
Yeah.
You're dipped in.
Yeah. Till Mr. High is in their face.
Yeah. Until like you're in buds and you're like, oh my God, this water is so cold.
It is really different watching people lay in cold water as opposed to laying in cold water yourself. It is a different experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish there was a correspondence course for buds. Maybe just laptop training.
There used to be a correspondence course for being drill sergeants in the reserves. You would go to like a post. I shit you not. You'd go to, it'd take like 2.5 years to complete, but you'd go to a post like 1 month or 1 weekend a month or a week, a certain amount of days a month.
Yeah.
But you would go a certain amount of days a month, and you would like slowly but surely like graduate drill sergeant school in like 2 years. Very strange.
Wow. So day one.
Basic training.
What do they get off the bus? Do they have like painted footprints on the ground?
No, we're not the Marines. You just get off the bus and then.
Actually, isn't usually one of the DIs getting on the bus with you before you get off?
No.
I swear I've seen videos of people in the front of the bus yelling.
So, well, you'll go on the bus sometimes and give them direction, right?
Yeah.
There's always a direction being given. So that's usually what happens. They'll get shipped over in cattle cars, and then you have like a drill sergeant go and say, this is what you're going to do. You're going to get off the bus, you're going to grab your bag, and you're going to go form up in that area right there. Get off my bus. And then they get off the bus, usually not fast enough.
Yeah, into just chaos.
And I'm just there to motivate. And I
inspire, perhaps?
Yes. And I have a unique battle cry.
I'm sure that you do.
It's very high pitched. And yeah, I'll do it. So I'll be like yelling at somebody, and I'll be like, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And then I'll just go, ah! And then, yeah. And it echoes. It reverberates. And I could do that for hours.
How long do you think it would take you to break Michael? Yes, Michelle.
So the thing with breaking somebody, right?
Well, let's give you the stats.
They
first.
have to have buy-in. So if you're just there until you decide to give up, I mean, that's fast. If you're there and I've said this to troops, I'd be like, you've got a bonus. You're getting school loans paid off. I go, you've got medical for your family back at home. I fucking own you. That's how much I own you. Because Uncle Sam will take it all back, and you'll be fucked because you'll never get a job. I laid it.
We can get him into that situation. We'll have him sign some paperwork. He'll work for free for half a decade.
I said that to a kid one time.
But here's the stats, right? 23.
26.
23.
Perfect.
Won't talk to women. No, I don't think he's an incel. Perhaps, maybe working his way towards it.
He definitely has a porn addiction.
I know. And I think he uses that computer, which is somehow tied to my account.
He uses his VR headset.
Yeah, physically, C-. He's been sick for a month. Cough due to cold, can't get over it. Aggressiveness, C-.
See, I don't. It's. People ask me that. That's you know what? This is the first time I've ever kind of had this thought in my head. Is people ask me like, how fast can you get them to quit? And I've never tried to get people to quit. I've tried to get them to get better. You know what I mean? Yep. I'm motivating you to an end state. I'm not motivating you to quit. There are people that I know don't belong, and I have pushed them harder to change, but not necessarily quit. I will say that I did get 2 kids. Oh, you'll like this story. So it's, I don't know. I've been a drill sergeant for a while at this point, and there were just 2 turds that weren't trying, and they were a cancer, and they were starting to their mindset was leaching into a whole bunch of other people's.
Yep.
And so we're like the second week in to basic training.
Of 8?
10.
Okay.
And we go to this medical portion of training where the medics take over, and the drill sergeant's really just kind of their babysitting, right? The medics take over, they give them all this medical training. We're there to make sure they don't fall asleep. So the other drill sergeants will go and get shit done while a handful stay and watch them. And during this time, they let me stay and watch them. And I was like, yeah, get out of here, go do your thing. I've been a drill sergeant for umpteen years at this point. Go do your thing, I got it. If you want to leave an active duty guy here because you don't trust me, that's fine. I go, but give me a new guy or somebody that needs to see how shit gets done. Like, okay. So there's 3 or 4 other drill sergeants with me that are younger and don't have the experience that I do. And these 2 turds come up, and they've been shitheads. And I'm like, now's my time. So I bring them over. For one reason or the other, they came to my attention. I brought them over. I was like, here's the deal, guys. You don't want to be here. I get that. All right. I see how you're acting. You're not changing. And I'm talking very kind, very calm like this. You're not really changing. Oh, here's the deal. If you want to go home, we can facilitate that. I go, it'll be faster than you graduating basic training. That is the lie. That is 100% a lie. Which I was very excited to tell them that lie, because I knew their life would be longer and miserable if they quit.
Yeah, that
which they deserve.
Process.
They absolutely deserve. So I'm like, it'll be short. We'll get you out of here within a couple of weeks. It won't be that long. You'll be fast-paced, fast-tracked on to get out of here. I go, but this is what you have to do. I go, there are certain elements of training that you have to pass. And if you don't pass them or you refuse to, it's called refusal of training. Trainee, can I train you if you refuse to train? No, Droshan. can you pass basic training if you refuse to train? No, drill sergeant. I was like, all right. So if you don't want to be here, don't take this test. And then I'll ask you if you want to take the test. And you'll say no, and I'll give you the options. I'll even tell you, I'll give you a direct order to take the test. But if you don't take that test for medicals training, where do you put a tourniquet? Not on the neck. Then we'll have to start your paperwork and chapter you out of the military. You could be home probably soon. Okay. So the two of them, it's time to test. Test taking time. Where do you not put a tourniquet? Drill sergeant. What do you want, trainee? Come over here, talk to me. Him and his buddy. Boop, 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 boop. Drill sergeant, we don't want to take this test. I go, trainee, you have to take the test. Drill sergeant, we don't want to take this test. I go, trainee, are you refusing to take this test? Yes, drill sergeant. All right, I order you to take that test, trainee. You have to take that test in order to continue to train. Drill sergeant, I refuse to take that test. All right, you're refusing to train, trainee? Is that what you're telling me? Yes, drill sergeant. I need you to tell me, are you refusing to train right now? When I'm telling you, do you need to take that test? Yes, drill sergeant, I refuse to train. Okay. I want you to go sit down. We'll talk about this afterwards. We go back to the drill sergeant center with me are like, what the fuck did you just do, dude? What? We have, at their minds were, because they were altered by, officers, literally the company commander are like, we need to get these guys to train. We have to get them to graduate. We want high graduation numbers, 100% pass rate. And I'm like, no, that's not basic training. Basic training isn't about a high percentage of pass rating. It's, do you belong here and can you change? Yep. Or is that impossible, right? So I'm like, okay. So they're all looking at me like, dude, we're supposed to pass people. How did you get these two people to quit? Holy fuck, that's 2 losses on the same. And I'm like, that's okay. Don't worry. So, the trainees are looking around. They're like, oh my God, you talk to the drill sergeant, quit. What? We go back to the company area. Senior drill sergeant of the entire company, E7, getting ready to get that E8 rank, right? Be a first sergeant somewhere in charge of troops. Furious. Fury is that is as heavy. He was so above furious. What the fuck? Comes over, right? Second platoon, get on the fucking bleacher. Second platoon gets on the bleachers, right? The other platoon, I think it might have been the whole company, but I know second platoon was there 100%. I think it might have been the whole company. And the other 2 trainees aren't there. Oh no, they are there. And he's just like, stand up the fuck over there, blah, blah. They're on the side because the medics told him they refused to train. They refused to take the test. So I'm sitting there leaned up against the wall, just watching this E7 berate at a level of rage. It's very few times I've seen this level of rage. He's like, you gotta fucking quit. You're not gonna train. You have the balls to say you refuse to train? You think you're gonna go home? You're not going fucking home. You're day 1 restarting with Bravo Company next door. Day 1 restart. And you will keep restarting until you fucking pass. There's a minimum of 3 times that we will restart you. A minimum. The 2 kids are crying and they're looking over at me. The entire group that is sitting up that my senior drill sergeant is screaming at. All of the trainees just look over at me, petrified, knowing that I told these kids to quit and it's okay to quit. And I'm sitting there just grinning, just this huge grin, and just with a drill sergeant hand, I just yeah. Oh, petrified. Those kids got, kicked out of the company. Day 1 restart somewhere else. And our entire company got to watch them get fucked. Day 1 restart with the kids coming off the bus, just like they did, but 2 weeks ago. And let me tell you what a great attitude change.
Sometimes you kill a fly with a hammer, not because it makes it more dead. It's so the other flies pay attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they make it through?
I don't give a fuck. I don't know. No idea. But that is one of the most
100% graduation rate is a terrible, terrible standard to set in any program.
Absolutely. I said that intentionally. That was an officer problem. We want our numbers to look good. Our numbers need to look good. 100% pass rate. We need to get them to pass.
So stupid.
How many times do I have to negatively counsel a troop? 10 times before the company commander will go, no, 3. We'll go, all right, I'm going to counsel him now. And I'm going to counsel him 3 more times. And then maybe we'll kick him, to another company. Come on.
Yeah.
Where's the trust here?
How long do you think you could keep doing that job if you wanted to? Indefinitely?
Until I can't run anymore.
Okay. Because you got to run with him?
Well, I have to take a PT test every year.
Yeah.
Strength isn't my issue. Running is. I don't run very well. I run poorly. I pass. I have no problem with passing.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't like it. I don't like to do it. And eventually one day it'll catch up to me where my minimum training standard for running is really going to be like, hey.
You got some runway in front of you. You're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took some peptides.
Yeah. Peptides are an interesting one, man. Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. For those of you that didn't know, March includes International Women's Day. And I think we should all take a moment to celebrate women. Everything that they carry at work, in relationships, and families, and in the many roles that they hold every day. Very often, women find themselves in caretaker roles, specifically with young children, and also depending on the type of husband, right, if we're being honest. And emotional well-being for the caretaker is very, very easy to overlook. Women have played a pivotal and foundational role in my own life, starting at the beginning of my life, obviously with my mom, and then I was raised with my sister. I have a daughter now. And, of course, my wife, Leah. I would ask for you to take a moment and think about the women in your life, the pressures that they may feel, the expectations that they may have on them, and the things that they carry every day. Therapy can help create balance, it can set healthy boundaries, and it can support overall well-being for everyone. BetterHelp has over 30,000 therapists. BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 6 million people globally, and it works with an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 for a live session based on over 1.7 million client reviews. BetterHelp has quality therapists and a therapist match commitment. If you don't sync up well with your initial therapist, you can move on to a different therapist until you find a good fit. Your emotional well-being matters. Find support and feel lighter in therapy. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/clearedhot. That's BETTER help. Hotel Echo Lima Papa.com/clearedhot. Back to the show. A lot of conflicting information about peptides.
Works for me.
What are you taking?
So I took the Wolverine stack, which is, I don't know the names for all of them.
BPC 157, TB 500.
There you go. And then there's this thing that's like the Ferrari of it that like cuts down like belly fat.
Anavar?
No.
Menstrual?
No, it's a peptide. I wouldn't mind taking steroids, but I don't.
Have you asked them if they identify as a peptide?
Good call.
You know what I mean?
But I got my
belly-
right knee. I jacked it up.
Belly fat one? Are you talking like a GLP?
It's called like Vera to something or Tessamora something.
Tessamorelin?
I think that's it.
Can you look that up, Michael?
Tessamorelin.
I think I've heard that name, but I don't know necessarily what
It's like belly fat, and I think it helps like boost testosterone naturally or something like that.
Sermorelin.
Tessamorelin. There you go.
Tessamorelin. Yeah, pull that sucker up.
So I took those 3 because I jacked up my knee. I popped it out of socket when I was chasing down a guy on a dirt bike, and the job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, dude, they have a picture of you up there too.
If only.
Semorelin therapy. Scroll. What are
So
peptides?
mine's a Tessamorelin. I don't know.
Yeah, I think there is tessamorelin as well, Michael.
Similar family.
I mean, we're
guess.
basically, this is a room full of learned doctors, so let's get the right information up there.
Yeah. But yeah, I talked to a company. They helped a friend out, and they helped me out. And
Yeah.
I've been on it for 6 months. And the pain that I had in my knee, like it's specifically walking different ways or like pulling on my shoe.
Yeah.
Because I tore my meniscus. It would hurt.
Do you get your blood work done as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you probably do, yeah, for both your jobs, actually, I would imagine. Did you find tessamorelin?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I swear, synthetic peptides, specifically a growth hormone releasing hormone GHRH, analog FDA approved to treat HIV-associated lipodystrophy by reducing excessive visceral abdominal fat.
Growth hormone. There you go.
Do you have symptoms associated with HIV?
Well, I mean, I kept fucking dudes in truck stops unprotected for a while. And I just assumed that, it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger.
Yeah.
Look at Magic Johnson.
You're just getting ahead of it.
Yeah.
Didn't Magic Johnson, he no longer...
Is positive?
Yeah.
I've heard that, but that could just be like a whatever rumor.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's actually true.
If there's somebody who has the money to probably work with science and figure out a way to do that, I would say that's probably the individual for sure, or one of the cohort of individual.
Yeah.
Yeah, peptides are interesting. It's my sister she did hospice care for a long time, which, dude, you want to talk about, you better be tooled for that.
Yeah. Just, you're literally there to watch people die.
And you're there to help facilitate them in the most painless way possible. I mean, my mom, she was the hospice nurse for my mom.
Speaking of a hammer with a fly, sorry, Mom.
Oh, where are you going?
Wham! They went out peacefully in their sleep. Wham! Wham!
Technically, yeah. No, but she did the care for
That's
my
gonna
mom.
be fucking rough.
I think it allowed her to switch on like her clinical mind, which may have a long-term tail of not, maybe processing it.
Bro, that sounds like fucking PTSD in a nutshell for us. Hey, compartmentalize these feelings real quick.
Dude, my mom passed. I was in Afghanistan. I got the Red Cross letter early. Well, she had been diagnosed with cancer. I was home when she passed, not with her.
Yeah.
But I had been home for maybe 10 days. And you want to talk about, I couldn't process anything. I was still in that mindset of just like black and white. If it's not life-threatening, doesn't matter. Next,
Yep.
What's the next problem? Don't care, deal with that later. And then it's like, your mom, I was in a business meeting when my mom died. I got a text from her, and she said, hey, give me a call when you can. I was like, what happened? She's like, yeah, just give me a call. And I remember writing back, what time did she die? She's like, just give me a call when you're fucking done with your meeting. I added the fucking done with the meeting part.
Yeah.
So I call her and she's just like, hey, mom passed. And I was like, and I remember, it's like I'm watching myself from outside of my body thinking back about this. I was like, okay, like what time? At that tone of voice, not physically capable of an emotional range whatsoever.
Which you don't think about it, but like what an impact for your sister to deal with too. Like my brother's not giving a shit. Like
fucking
what the
autonomous rope. I mean, she knew where.
Or capable of be like, why isn't he asking how I feel? Even if that's not exactly where her head's at, there's a small portion of like, why are you not being sympathetic to my
Why do you
plight?
not have you have the emotional range of a quarter right now?
Yeah.
Like
heads or tails, angry, sad, angry, horny.
Yeah. Or angry,
Angry, really angry.
God, horrible. Absolutely freaking horrible. So now though, she is focusing on hormonal care for women. Like everything I'm about to say, I know nothing about, and I think it's the right term. It's like,
I think that's just like, that should go before every podcast you
100%.
say.
But specifically this, like perimenopause, premenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. There's a lot of menopausal stuff.
I'm told testosterone helps with menopausal issues.
She would be able to answer that correctly. From my understanding, essentially the FDA hard fucked generations of women by putting, what's the label, Michael? Is it a red label or a black label warning on testosterone for women? It was like breast cancer guaranteed. If you touch this stuff, breast cancer guaranteed. So this generations of women were just fucking grinding it out as they were having huge hormonal shifts. Yes, testosterone is part of the therapy that she does for sure. And then I think there's an estrogen portion of that, and depends on the person. Point being, now she's completely focusing on that aspect, like longevity and helping women through that phase of her life.
Yeah.
Peptides are a huge part of what she does.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating to have conversations with her. They don't even necessarily understand the exact mechanism, but they can't argue with the results with some of these things.
That's the thing. Is like, they're like, we kind of know it does gut health, and because of the gut
overall, like systemic inflammation is way down and is having a bunch of cascading positive effects. We're not necessarily sure, but this is kind of awesome. And then Big Pharma's like, you're going to patent.
but not approved for human consumption yet, though.
Yeah. Or, well, that's because Big Pharma's trying to patent them. It's like, fuck off.
I don't know how you patent a genome, or like how do you
know they're amino acids.
Yeah, like how do you patent an amino acid?
By spending a lot of money with lawyers.
What happened to capitalism?
Aren't we in that experiment right now?
Yeah, it used to be great. Well, it also used to be like child workers, but give and take, I guess. The children yearn for the mines, Andrew. They yearn for the mines.
Polish the inside of a 50 cal round without using a child's small finger.
That's perfect.
God. I've never been motivated by money to do it. Like, don't get me wrong. I love the idea of money being fantastically wealthy, but I wouldn't do it at that cost.
Do what at what cost?
Hire children intentionally, you know what I mean? Or structure my system where that was the...
Are you going to have a moral compass?
Yeah.
Like where did these people get their moral compasses? You know, obviously Epstein didn't have one. Bring it back to that. You know, people's moral compass is I want power.
Do you think he would say that he did have one?
Oh yeah, everybody. I get. You could say everybody has a moral compass. You know where it points in what direction.
Criminals. Mm-hmm. Do they believe they're morally right in what they're doing sometimes? Because I'm sure it depends on the person you're dealing with.
When it comes to kid touchers, they know what they're doing is wrong societally. They know what they're doing is wrong, but they'll always try to distance themselves from the crime. Like one example
would be...
That's a very
intimate crime. How can you distance yourself from that?
One would be like, did you like get a blowjob or have sex with this child? Yeah, but I never came on them. So they're in their mindset, which is fucked up. I'm not
that will
condoning this.
They will verbalize that.
That is a verbatim.
And as they're saying that, they think that
They think it's not that bad.
They believe that it's not, oh my
They're not being disrespectful, or that's their way. That's their moral compass. That is their line. Like, hey, I might have fucked him, but I didn't ejaculate on the child. And you're like, oh, thank you. Thank you for letting me know that.
I was going to say, what in the actual hell are you Googling?
Yeah, right. When he posted that, I was like, oh.
Dude, yeah. Are we
worry,
now
don't
in the
worry.
ICAC world? Is like, do we need, like, good God.
I thought he was going to pull up a sperm, just a big thing of sperm. I thought that's what the amino acid was. I was like, wow, bold choice, dark humor, loving where your head's at.
They have their own moral compass, as fucked up as we may think it is.
They have their own reasoning for why they did what they did and why it's not as bad as what other people think that it is.
How do they respond when confronted by the reality that they're absolutely batshit crazy and out of their mind to think that?
How do you tell a person who's crazy that they're crazy? How do you bring logic to something that's illogical? You can't. You talk to them about.
Don't talk about the internet like that. Don't talk about arguing on the internet in that way, bringing logic to illogical things. That's the whole point of the internet.
Twitter is fucking
into
a
it, bro.
cesspool. Dude, we gotta kill some bots, man. I mean, like, there's these bot farms where I'm like looking at like all these profiles that are like saying the most horrible shit. I'm like, that's an AI bot right there, just trying to create dissidence in my comment section.
Have you heard of the dead internet theory?
Yes, that there is that like 80%, if not more, of the internet is just AI, just regurgitating
Or
shit.
those farms. I've had Michael pull up the pictures. It's just the banks of phones. Yeah, if you can remind yourself that is who you may be arguing with, it's helpful. But then if you can also remind yourself you're not going to change anybody's opinion on the internet, it's even more helpful.
The only thing that I've noticed with like conversations in the comments section of Twitter is, I'm careful to misconstrue somebody's point because it's text, right? So just like a book, you read something, it has the emotional impact that you feel it would, right?
Yeah.
Not what the person may be writing it sends out, right?
The written word is the worst.
So
Anybody who's married and texts their wife can let you know that.
Yeah.
Like, I did not. Why are you implying tone here?
Yeah.
This was just like straight. How are you doing? You motherfucker.
what do you mean, how am I doing? Well, I didn't say it like that.
Yeah.
So,
That's when you're immediately like, call. I'm like, hey, what's going on?
hey, first of all, I love you. I just want to let you know that you woke up today, you smelled great. I don't know what you did. Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
Dude, the written word. It's rough.
So I'll get in conversations in the comment section, and usually the first one or two, if I want to have a conversation, debate, whatever, talk about a topic, is what is their mindset in this? Is it to berate me, or was this a question and we're now exchanging information? Because you'll know right away.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, it's like a probe. You put a little probe out there to be like, when you said this in response to my comment, did you not read this part, or what did you think of that? And if they're like, shut up, fascist, well, then you know it's not. And but on the other hand, if they go, well, you said this, that, and I thought that this was funny. You're like, okay, cool. This is somebody that wants more information.
And
Cool
a
part of
dialogue
the
is at
internet.
least possible.
Yeah. Cool part of the internet. Talk with strangers, when you're of age, kids.
Seriously.
And yeah.
How did you grow your channel to 1.5 plus million? It's pretty impressive. Also, how do you decide what you're going to cover on your channel?
I see whatever tickles my taint.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I just consistency, I think, is the one thing. I had a buddy of mine,
How long you been at it?
a decade. I think 2017 is when I started the YouTube channel.
So nobody's going to pay attention to that. They see 1.5 and they're like, you're an overnight success. Walk me through the beginning of that and the trajectory of what got it to that.
So growth is normal, right? We talked about bots. So if you see somebody that's just like,
Malibu Fitness.
Malibu Fitness, right? So
That was probably more, though, very influential people are like, this dude's amazing.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, bing.
So when it comes to subscriber count, normally what happens is you'll have a normal amount of growth for a little while, and then you'll hit a topic where it gets like, oh my God, that video did like 10 times the amount of views that all my normal videos get. And you'll get a spike in followers, and then it'll drop back down, and then you'll teeter.
Normal.
So like when you're seeing like up, down, plateaus, and they're all over the place, and you're like, how? There should be a rhyme or reason to it. You'll know that like people have like bots following them.
Yeah.
Or if like all of the accounts are like Indian accounts, that's another telltale sign that somebody's not following you. But the way that I got to 1.5 was consistency. A buddy of mine said, worked with a bunch of females in his line of work, and the girls would come up to him and be like, how do you have your thing? He's like, if you've got time on the toilet to make a post, then you should make a post. It's like there's no reason why you can't post once or twice a day a 20-second skit or a funny little blurb about something. He was a lot of short form stuff. And that's how I started out too, with short form little skits, things that I thought were funny, because I did some stand-up comedy, but mostly improv.
Yeah. And that does take less time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it started off small and then short, and then it grew into like longer form. And when I found out that it's just as easy to make a 5-minute funny sketch as it is to make 30 seconds where I'm trying to boil down the jokes as much as I can.
You can let them breathe a little bit.
Yeah. So I just had fun jumping from platform to platform, doing different things. Like I enjoy what I do, but I've also worked on it for 10 years.
Nobody wants to see that, man. Nobody wants to see the 10-year overnight success.
Yeah, they want the Hawk Tuah girl.
Man, you want to talk about Elon Musk rocket up, and then I think a trapdoor came open shortly after that.
Yeah.
It's just not I think if it's all based on that, it's just not sustainable.
It was. She was. I mean, for an overnight success, she started her podcast and had crazy celebrities on it, which could have continued.
But you got to look at how she was able to do that. She had the whole backing of a network and system that
Correct.
had access to those individuals, because anybody can create. I mean, when I first started the podcast, it was like 2 microphones and a Zoom HD6.
Bro, that's where I'm at right now with my buddy, where I'm starting ours.
Dude,
We've got a couple cameras because I've been in the game for a while, so I can afford that now.
And you're recognizable and have a circle of friends, even just the relationship with the unsub dudes, right? Like the getting the guests is working through the network and all of that stuff. But yeah, for her, having those celebrities is because of the relationship that the brand had with her. And then, maybe don't start a crypto coin.
A rug pull.
Holy cow.
It was so obvious. We're going to do Hawk Tuah coin. You're like, oh my God.
But also,
who are the idiots? Well, they're idiots around here that do dumb social media stuff. But
not even that, but who's going to invest in a Hawk Tuah coin? Like
people did. She made like $1 million. She made enough to make like $1 million, which was the dumbest thing ever. Now she's doing OnlyFans.
Is she really?
Yeah. She's doing feet pics.
Who is going to give... Like, if you came to me and were like, hey, do you know who this Hawk Tuah girl is? I'm like, I think so, from being on the internet, talking about spitting on a dick, which, hilarious content, by the way. She's going to do crypto investing. Can we get $1 from you? Like, absolutely not. I'll give you $1 to go away and never bring up this topic again.
Yeah.
Like,
so they still got $1 though.
Okay. Well, no, I'm just walk away then. Like, who is investing in that?
What's the term? There's a sucker born every minute. Isn't that like the old school term?
I don't want to, God, I think you're accurate, but I just don't want to believe that. It's like, I am sorry. Why would you follow this woman into this unknown terrain, which she is clearly being marionette dolled by other people who work in this world? Like, what are you doing? I want to have empathy for people when they make bad decisions, but that one is so galactically stupid.
Are you forgetting about the time where the one Kardashian sister was so close to being a billionaire that people started a GoFundMe to get her $100 million so that she could become a billionaire?
That's not true.
Yes, it is. Jamie?
That
Michael?
means you, Michelle. I don't want to believe.
It's not Chloe. It's not Kim. It's the one that got a whole bunch of facial stuff done. Not the model.
I don't know if you say the one that got a whole bunch of facial stuff done, if that narrows down the Kardashians.
Well, the old one's Chloe. She's the one that was dog-faced. Kylie, there you go. There you go. She needs $100 million, and it happened.
She did not get $100 million on GoFundMe. Did she?
I'm almost certain that she did. I'm almost certain that it was tens of millions. I know it was tens of millions.
I don't want to live in a world where Kylie Jenner doesn't have $1 billion.
She needs that $100 million, man. She needs it.
The person who wrote that is walking around with you and I in society. We may know them.
Dude, you don't hate the media enough. It's garbage. Yellow journalism is back. You don't get honest...
Yellow journalism? What's that?
You know, yellow journalism?
Yeah, I've never heard that term.
It was a term that was, if I'm not mistaken, was coined during Teddy Roosevelt's time. And yellow journalism is just extremely slanted, intentionally opinionated media.
You think that's what's going on right now?
100%.
I find it to be super transparent and without bias.
Wait a second. You smell gas? I think I'm being gaslit.
No, but you have to assume that. I mean, you can tell.
People can't assume, though. People can't think for themselves.
All you got to do is look at a topic, and I will use two examples of which I know there are more. You can go to CNN and you can go to Fox.
Yeah.
And they will. All you need to do is find an article on the same topic and look at the difference in how it is discussed.
Yeah.
And realize that probably neither of them are accurate, and the truth is somewhere in between.
Yeah, but most people don't do that or don't have the time. So they rely on the news networks like we used to rely on them in like the 40s for just a unbiased or for an unbiased opinion.
What concerns me is the people that consume a voracious amount on one side and they think that they're well educated. They're pummeled in an echo chamber and they're aware of what that side is being shoved down their throat.
Yeah.
I don't know if I use the term well educated. They're just surrounded by their own bias that I hope that they can recognize, but I guess what you're saying holds water. You know, they don't have enough time. I don't know. I feel like they do. I feel like you can find the time that you need to not walk around being snowballed by a propaganda machine. I mean, I'm just saying.
There's a lot of people who get snowballed.
Yeah, I suppose.
Don Lemon's a freedom fighter, so there's enough people that get snowballed.
Did he get arrested in a church?
He got arrested after the church incident, but I believe that he was able to walk free. I think they dropped the district attorney dropped the charges.
I saw that happened, but I couldn't bring myself, because again, I can't bring myself to get emotionally involved in something that I think is just trying to be weaponized for political purposes.
In which way? Well, I mean, everything's being weaponized for political purposes. I'm a part of that right now, actually. One of my incidents hit the national media. Thank God we bombed Iran, because now I don't think anybody gives a shit anymore.
What happened with the national media? Which incident?
Boiled down, and we can get into it more if you want. Boiled down, there was a guy that was arrested in the city of Buffalo that happened to have like refugee status.
Okay.
And he was incarcerated for a while during his arrest, while things are ongoing. He makes bail, gets out. Border Patrol picks him up because there was some sort of detainer that was on him because he was a refugee but committed a crime.
Which probably violates your refugee status, I'd imagine.
Possibly.
Yeah.
So they release him, though, after like a certain number of hours. And then 4 days later, he's found dead.
Okay.
Well, when they released him, a couple days after they released him, there was a missing persons complaint. Guess who got that missing persons complaint?
Someone who looks like you?
Me. This guy did. This guy got that missing persons. So I got the missing persons, and I thought that he was still in custody. So I closed the case. It was still on my desk, but it was like, I was like, okay, cool. I got the answers for it. There you go.
Whoa.
Yep.
Nural Amin Shah Alam.
So
Found dead days after U.S. Customs and Border Patrol dropped him off at a coffee shop miles from his home in Buffalo. Why did they drop him off at a coffee shop?
I'll get into it.
Okay.
So I end up getting the case. I look into it. I think he's in custody. I'm going to close it. That's easy. You can't be a missing person if you're in custody.
How'd this guy die?
Hold on. I call the complainant, leave a message. Hey, I'm going to close the case. I believe he's in custody. Let me know. Here's my number. Click. A couple hours later, get a call. Hey, he's not in custody anymore. That's old information. I'm like, oh, interesting. Not a problem. Case is on my desk. Let me just click my internal document reviewing, reopen the case, and we're good to go. A couple days later, dead. Now, you know what the story, you know what the headline is? Border Patrol drops off blind man with no English in the middle of the winter, causing his death.
Did he die due to environmental exposure?
I don't know if that's public knowledge yet, but I believe that that's been ruled out.
Really?
Well, I know that he was alive, or at least I know that the medics worked on him, or the ambulatory people worked on him for a little bit, so he wasn't frozen.
Was he blind?
There you go. Blind refugee found dead. So what you get is, oh my God. Yeah. You got to go to like archive.com or something like archive.is, and then you can get the archived version of it, and then it'll go through the paywall.
Was he blind?
Partially. So what came out in the news is that Border Patrol killed this guy because they dumped him off in the cold in Buffalo.
Left him to fend for himself. Probably no jacket, no shoes.
So
yeah,
they drop him off to die. And then I get the case. I fumble it for 3 hours. And that 3 hours, that would have been life-saving, apparently.
Yeah.
And over the course of 5 days, while we look for this dude, he ends up passing away. So it's Border Patrol's fault. They killed him. It's my fault because I didn't look for him hard enough into the first 4 hours of the investigation.
Dropped him off at a Timmy Hortons, very Canada of you guys. You guys are close, though.
Oh, yeah, we're right there by the border. Timmy House.
Yeah. Scroll down a little bit more, Michael. So investigating the cause of death. The examiner concluded the death was health-related and ruled out exposure or homicide. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, people do die. Sometimes they die in circumstances that could be wrapped up in other things.
So it's all over the internet. The House Minority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries, retweets it. ICE is retweeting it. DHS is retweeting it. It's all over how this poor blind man was just set off in the winter snow on a death warrant. And then there we go. Would you like to know what actually happened?
Yeah, desperately.
Okay. Here's what actually happened. He's arrested. You want to know what he's arrested for?
Yes.
Whooping the shit out of some woman's dog at some house that he randomly walked up to in like the area of where he was dropped off because he used to live in that area of town. Beats the shit out of some woman's dog.
What was he doing there?
Just walking around. I don't know.
Isn't it dangerous to walk when you're blind?
Interesting that you say that. That'll come up later. So beats the shit out of the dog with some like curtain rods or something like that.
Who walks with curtain rods?
That blind man who uses them as walking sticks is what the news says. He uses them as walking sticks, and therefore it completely. But either way, he goes into some woman's yard, beats her dog up with these walking sticks. Officers go there. They're like, "Hey, you're trespassing. Put the curtain rods down." Doesn't speak a lot of English, but put it down, stop, get on the ground. I've got a taser pointed at you. Probably some physical things you might understand. For a blind guy, he starts swinging his sticks at the cops. So they try to tase him. Doesn't work. They end up wrestling with him. He bites the two police officers. Bites, breaks skin, bleeding, right? One of them twice, one of them once. They arrest him. So he's arrested for trespassing and biting cops.
I was going to say, isn't that assault on a peace officer?
Yeah. Well, the DA's office decided to drop that. It's going to be harassment and trespassing. Don't worry about the cops getting bit by a crazy man. Who, by the way, he can see. He can. How do you know this? Because I talked to his son.
Yeah.
So he gets put in county lockup for like the past several months. Like he gets locked up in like the end of 2025. He's been in like lockup for almost a year maybe. And he's got a detainer.
For that charge.
Because he never made bail. Ooh. So his family visits him in lockup.
Is it so he's like in county jail essentially?
Correct.
Okay.
So he's in county lockup for a while. People don't know this. This isn't, this is breaking news. I know a bunch of people in the city of Buffalo area. I know sheriff's deputies. While he was locked up, he was a complete menace in the holding center because he would wait for the female officers to walk by and then masturbate in front of them. So pretty interesting. He didn't do that for any of the men. Did it for all the women when they were coming by. Probably not so blind.
Yeah.
Probably not so blind.
He needed that proper motivation.
I mean, so he gets bailed out. We don't know who bails him out. We're trying to figure out who bailed him out right now, which I think is an extremely important piece of information.
It is important. I'm surprised you...
Because if you bail him out, that means that person would likely have some sort of responsibility to notify him or the Erie County Holding Center or CBP, whatever, that his family has since moved from the location that he was dropped off at to another location in the city, the opposite side of town, basically. While in the holding center, his family visits him. He's visited by his criminal defense services. Nobody tells him that his family's moved and that he's got a new address.
None of this makes sense.
No, it doesn't. It's almost like people didn't care about him and then
like if I were,
now put that burden on us.
If I was visiting a family member in jail with the likelihood that they were going to get out, I'd be like, dude, you remember the townhouse we used to live in?
Which
our lease came up. So like, yeah, we live over here now.
Which brings up the point of who bailed him out. If his family bailed him out, wouldn't they tell him that, hey, we live here now? Guess what the complaint was started as a missing person? So guess who made that complaint? His criminal defense lawyer, right? Who says that he represents him as an attorney. Now, you might represent him as a criminal defense lawyer, but do you have that legal authority to represent him as a missing persons person?
I don't know how any of that stuff works.
And the other thing is if you're his criminal defense lawyer and his family potentially did not bail him out because they would have told him where they live now, he's the only person that probably would have bailed him out. It's illegal for a defense attorney to bail out his own client.
Oh, is it?
Oh, yeah. It's a violation of the bar.
That actually checks out.
Yeah. Hey, you committed murder. I'm going to bail you out. You know, if you kind of extend the circumstances a little bit to make it more, grandiose, you kind of see why.
I can see the breadcrumbs on that one.
Yeah. I'm a millionaire defense attorney. I'm going to post your bail for you. I don't.
Yeah.
Now, I assume that he makes the police report because maybe he can't get a hold of the guy after he footed his bail, which he's not supposed to do.
I mean, there's going to be a record of who paid the bail, right? There's got to be
somebody has to sign something to say that they put up bail for him.
And you're pretty sure it was not the family?
I'm using common sense. I'm not saying it was, but if the family didn't bail him out for this long, and then he doesn't know that the family moved and gets dropped off to their old address, I'm assuming it wasn't the family because they would have been like, hey, Dad, we moved from 123 A Street to 123 B Street.
Totally.
So he gets picked up by Border Patrol. They got to the detainer. They determine, okay, cool, you check out, actually, we're going to let you go. Where do you want to go? They drop him off at a Tim Hortons. It's closed, but the drive-thru's open. So CBP's like, well, you want us to drop us, or not CBP, but Border Patrol's like, all right, you want us to drop you off at the corner of this gas station? Fine. It's, drive-thru's open, looks open. Who gives a shit? The guy said he wanted to get dropped off there a mile.
So he made the choice. Yep.
A mile or two. This is ICE's, like DHS's response too.
Yeah.
Is they're like, he asked to be dropped off at that location, so we did, instead of just kicking him out at our holding center location. Like, isn't that kind of the nice thing to do?
Yeah, kind of gave the guy a solid.
So he gets out. There's video of him walking around. He's got shoes. He's got his jacket. A couple days later, I get the missing persons report. I do my investigation, call the vice. They tell me, hey, there's a detainer for him. He's waiting to be sentenced for your Buffalo PD thing for the assault. Yeah. And in my mind, I go, oh, he's waiting to be sentenced. He's in custody. So I call up the defense attorney and say, hey, I believe he's in custody. I'll close the case. That's the information I have right now. Calls back, upset. No, that's old information. I'm like, oh, okay, not a problem. I get my entire unit on it. All right, older guy, defense attorney's kind of worried about him. ICE is involved now. I'm like, all right, let's get all hands on this. Start putting out social media posts and all that other stuff. What does this defense attorney do right away? Goes to investigative post, starts painting everybody a bad picture. News starts going with, he's blind, he can't see. I called his son up. Son's like, no, he can see. Like 50 feet, he can see people. He really can't tell who you are.
Yeah.
He goes, but within 3 feet, he's like, it's crystal clear, he's fine. It's just one eye is bad. I was like, oh, okay, thank you. Geez, that goes against the narrative. Dude, the narrative just goes insane. They dropped him off. He's dead. He's frozen. We're hitting up homeless shelters all throughout the city. Dropped off on the 19th, dead on the 23rd or 4th.
4-day window of being unaccounted for.
Interesting. Yeah, of walking around the city. People are like, they dropped him off in the cold. He's been living in the city of Buffalo for the past couple of years, since 2024. I think the guy knows. It gets cold here sometimes.
Who?
He got arrested almost the same time last year, walking around in the middle of the cold, beating up somebody's dog. So yeah, the news has taken it and just absolutely run with it and just completely left out all this information, not added and minor injuries to the officers is what he was arrested for. Minor. He bit people.
Which is one of the dirtier injuries that you can get.
Yeah. You need to go on antibiotics when somebody bites you. It's like a dog bite.
I'd rather be hit or kicked than bit.
Yeah. Oh, and they say that police beat him during the arrest after he bit them. Yeah, they're punching him to get his hands behind his back. They had to wait for backup. 2 cops had to sit on his back while he's like fighting with them still. But this is the physically incapacitated old man.
I don't know how you'll ever right-size that narrative. I don't think you guys will ever get out from underneath that.
Nope. No, we're screwed. That's just going to be out there.
It's an uphill battle, man. ICE and DHS and Border Patrol, they're in an interesting spot right now. They've had some public incidents that are not the best optic.
No. The Pretty shooting was pretty bad. I think it's going to be awful but lawful. That's my opinion of it. I did a video on it.
He will be legally covered.
Yep.
I think.
Civilly?
I talked to a lot of... Again, I've never been a police officer. I've never had to make that decision under the constraints and boundaries that police officers work underneath. But from an outsider, that looks to me to be completely avoidable.
I agree. Here's how you avoid it. 1, instead of saying we're not going to support any federal agency when it comes to Customs or Border Patrol or immigration, right? The local police need to should have done crowd control. Hey, I don't like that you're here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate you from the public that I protect. Boy, isn't that a great idea? Instead of just letting your city try to overrun federal officers doing their job, that's now going to create more and more tension.
Yeah.
It's almost like the politicians decide to, I don't know, politicize their own people into throwing them into the meat grinder, praying that something negative happens so then they can get a political win.
I've had some people reach out from inside of some of these cities and in no uncertain terms have basically said, because you can look at the data of deportations under Biden, under Trump 1, under Obama, they were deporting millions of people.
Yeah.
And what these individuals have said to me was, yeah, but the sanctuary cities were complying with and working with those agencies as opposed to taking the opposite approach, which falls in line with what you're talking about.
Well, you also have the volume. Texas has tens of thousands more deportations than Minnesota. Why aren't there so many incidents like in Minnesota as there are in Texas? Maybe it's not ICE. Maybe it's the reaction to them. And is that reaction from politicians or the local populace?
Yeah.
Is there because there is assistance from local law enforcement to keep the two separated?
I also think it's horrible to put people in a position that they're not trained for.
Boom. That was another thing.
Because my understanding those were Border Patrol personnel. And I'm friends, there's Border Patrol up here, just so people know there is a northern border. And when Trump says there's not been an
Snowbacks.
illegal crossing in 9 months, I'm like, how dare you, sir?
Yeah.
It's like, what? Did you actually just say that at the State of the Union? Okay, whatever. Come to Montana for a week and we can dispel that rumor because the 7 Border Patrol officers that are patrolling the vast northern border between Montana and Canada.
The moose don't count. They don't count.
They might have some camera footage that could dispel that. But I just did an episode comes out Monday with a guy named Oscar Hagelsey. And he started with Border Patrol.
Yeah.
Worked his way to DHS, ICE, expert in the cartels. Cool. But he was talking about because people are saying, well, Border Patrol gets additional training to deal with things like that. He was like, listen, I went
Crowd
through
control?
Well,
maybe at major points of entry, but like
that's
not.
that's what it's for. And that's what he said. He's like, listen, I can only speak for when I went through, but we did get additional training for things like crowd control or protest or riot. At a port of entry, how do we prevent it from shutting down the port of entry, which is completely different than going and pulling people off of the street and dealing with people in that manner. Like, was the guy making, in my opinion, stupid decisions to be there to do what he was doing? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Does that mean he should have gotten burned down by 3/4 of a mag dump?
No.
No, not even remotely.
The incident where that skinny guy with the mace goes up and maces the guy and the girl, one of the crowd control things that I've learned, and I've been FEMA trained, is arrests take time and people. Those two things really tell you whether or not you're going to be affecting an arrest in a crowd control environment. Sometimes you're just going to have to eat the bricks that come at you because you don't have the manpower.
Yep.
Do you have the manpower and the time to now arrest these two people instead of just taking 5 steps backwards away from the car, not that they've fallen all over each other, and get your guys and get out of there? Yes. Can he legally effect an arrest because they were obstructing? Yes. Which is the better decision?
Yeah.
Spray and break contact, 100%.
It's rough, man. And those optics, I don't know how you get out from underneath that.
Well, they pulled out, right? Then they pull out of Minnesota, and they're like, all right, well, I thought that Minnesota and Governor Tim Walz, combat veteran, I thought he said, all right, we're going to have state and local municipalities work with ICE now in order to get them to pull out. I thought that was the consensus.
I don't know. I know that they definitely reduced.
There was a middle ground. There is some sort of assistance, I remember, from the state and local level so that they could remove the majority of the ICE footprint.
You know, it's interesting. I really have never encountered somebody who says we shouldn't enforce our immigration laws, left or right. Right? They could argue people they're coming here for a better life and this, that, and which all of that can be true. But even with people I know who are pretty on the hard left-hand side, if you get them listen, are you saying we should have no immigration policy? The ones I've talked to are no, I'm not saying that. But there's a difference between somebody who came here to better their family and they've been paying taxes and a hardened criminal. I'm like, okay, we can have that conversation for sure. But none of them are saying get rid of all immigration policy. So there is some level of overlap and Venn diagram agreement there. The how really matters, though. And I didn't pay attention to politics an immense amount when I was younger, but it seems like right now it's like team one side, team left, and team right. And it almost doesn't matter what happens. Those people are entrenched and dogmatically aligned.
Well, those are the loud people.
But there's also this huge group, though, in the center that is a little bit more malleable and can be pushed left and right. And that's what I worry about with stuff like Minnesota. You're pushing large groups of people that aren't dogmatically aligned with either team. You're pushing them away from
your team or
your team,
yeah.
which in the long run is a horrible long-term solution, because what they're going to do is align themselves for a short period of time or maybe a longer period of time with the other side, because they're not liking what they're going to see and they don't care as much about the team. They just don't want to see stuff like that. Like the how matters.
Yeah.
And I don't see how that's law. I don't understand how people can't grasp that concept.
Even if they can't, I think the easiest thing to do is realize that people are emotional. And if you see people dying in the streets, legal or not, at the hands of federal officers while they're conducting a raid or, whatever, you're going to say, that makes me feel bad. And you should.
Yeah,
it should make you feel bad. You don't want to see that. You know what the easiest way to make you feel better is? Say that I don't want that to happen, which means now kind of you selected a side.
And it's actually what I'd love to see is the people in charge of those agencies saying, you know what, that shouldn't have happened. But instead, within minutes or hours, it's a domestic terrorist. Like, that is the fastest fucking investigation that I've ever seen started.
Which one?
Kristi Noem got on national news within hours, and I was like, that was a domestic terrorist.
Oh, that of Pretty?
Pretty,
yeah,
yeah.
that was.
It's like you opened, completed, and it put a summary judgment on an investigation that this guy was a domestic terrorist.
Yeah, what the left's going to throw around Nazi, and now the right's going to throw around terrorist. I mean, I'm not going to lie, the right threw around terrorist a lot of 2001 till now in order to get their way. But like, what are we talking about? The second that she said that, you were like,
you know, it'd be amazing is if she went the fitness Malibu route, not the shiny skin.
Yeah.
Do you think he's had work done, or that's just the way he is?
He doesn't have worry lines, dude.
Maybe he has nothing to worry about.
Well, I think we've disproven that.
If she would have gotten up there and be like, listen, this was a horrific loss of life. An American citizen lost their life.
We're going to reevaluate. I would be like,
and before I comment further, I am going to take the time to allow our organization or an outside organization to come in to gather all of the facts. But what happened shouldn't have happened. And we're going to try to do everything we can to make sure it doesn't happen again. I would have so much more respect for that person. And I think that's how people, the citizens of this country, would have more respect for that agency. By going the route that they're doing, they're cutting their nose off to spite their face.
I think people see Trump push back the way that he pushes back, and they're like, I want to do that. But Donald Trump is Donald Trump. Donald Trump's doing what he's been doing for a long time and has a specialty in it. You're Kristi Noem. You're the Pam Bondi.
The Dow's at 50,000, bro.
Bro, the dumbest. Come on.
With victims standing behind her that she wouldn't look at, raising their hands, saying they've never had the opportunity to talk with the FBI or had an investigation, they wouldn't even turn around and look at them.
I mean, I don't. The turn around and look thing is our theatrics, right?
Well, the theatrics is also them standing there raising their hand. Like theatrics were playing on both sides.
It's on both sides. Yeah,
you know
I'm over the theatrics. Just do action.
You know what I would love to see? As Pam look over and be like, listen, go get all those people's names right now and put fucking appointments on the calendar, and we're going to go talk with each one of those individuals. Fucking problem solved. And guess what? The ammunition that the left is trying to use against you.
Depleted.
Blanks.
And that's on the news now.
Totally. Blanks. This shit isn't...
You don't do anything.
Dude,
so I just did this.
I'm dumb, right? And I can figure this stuff out. But hey, the Dow is at 50,000. I was like, did you just say that in the context and setting of where you are? And I don't believe... what I believe is, with having no data to support this, that a lot of the times when these people get up in front of these microphones, they are told what to say from the highest levels. And maybe they are smart people, maybe they're not, but they're tightly inside of boundaries that they have to stay inside of, or their head's going to get lopped off.
You know who I don't see do that, or my opinion, that I kind of like have gotten a newfound respect for? Marco Rubio. I have seen him go in front of different committees time and time again. He doesn't lose his cool. He has got a ton of information that he is willing to throw out there. And the fact that he's like fluent in Spanish and the Venezuelan thing, and obviously the incident on the southern border right now where the cartels are upset that their head honcho got blown. I'm like, this guy's impressing the shit out of me.
Yeah. And
I can't say that about Pam Bondi or Christy Nome, but I can say that about Marco.
Well, what you're talking about is somebody who is acting like a professional.
Yeah.
Versus somebody, and again, I'm not saying this true, but it almost appears as if they're being played like a marionette doll. And maybe they are smart, but I think those people are being directed and boundary. This is what you can say. Here's your script. Go run it, and don't you dare go outside of it.
I mean, you're going to say that about, or anybody could say that about anybody that's that works for the president, right? You're going to have your talking points. You're going to have your thing. And it's like, what's the difference between Pam Bondi and the last two AGs that we've had? They work for the president.
Let's say that Rubio is somehow boundaried in the same way.
I don't think that he is. I think because...
Or he's making the choice to navigate it. Because you could have those boundaries.
He's very good at navigating the questions.
And that's the thing. Rubio's like, you know what? Yeah, let's assume that he is getting the same guidance. It's like he's sitting there and he's like, the terrain isn't supporting this guidance that I'm giving or that I'm getting. So I'm going to stay with the intent of this guidance, but I'm going to play the fucking field as it's presenting itself. Where there's other people are like,
here's my talking points. This is what I want to focus on.
And the field is shifting on them, and they're not playing it as well.
I think that's a good definition of Pam Bondi's. The Dow is at 50% or $50,000 right now, right? I think that she was walking in there, and she's like, I'm going to throw this fact at their face, and instead of waiting for the opportunity that was appropriate for her to use that,
she picked the exact opposite.
She was just like, this is a good thing, I can use it now, and then shit the bed.
How matters, man. How matters. Yeah, I actually hadn't thought about Rubio. He does a good job of. He's a professional.
Yeah. He's impressed me.
You think he will get the nod ahead of Vance?
I think he's worked his way up. I think it's going to be. I guess
you could pair them. It could be a Vance Rubio ticket.
I think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be whoever pulls better in the individual. Does Vance pull better in the individual, or does Rubio?
Who had the ticket?
Correct. Like I think there's going to be those two, maybe a couple others. I mean, presidential nominations can change like crazy. It's insane what'll happen over like 3 months. Like the Pyaw guy that was supposed to run against Bush.
That was amazing.
Yeah, he did Pyaw once and done. And he was the front runner and he looked amazing. And then it became like
the trap door was actually attached to the stage he was on when he walked off.
So anything could happen. I would assume that the Republicans are going to try and minimize like an all-out run, because they're going to have their favorites. Like Vance, obviously, a vice president running again is par for the course.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just, Biden, Kamala Harris. Everybody, even Al Gore and Bush, before that, when Bush was the head of the CIA. Was he a vice president? I don't think he was. He was CIA under Reagan.
I do not. Yeah, he was. I don't believe Senior was not ever VP.
Yeah. And then... But anyway, it's kind of the norm, even like in the beginning stages of the United States, which I loved, the original beginnings of the United States, where if you lost the presidential run for the one thing, you just became the vice president. I thought that was cool.
It would be interesting if you forced somebody from the other side to be on your ticket.
Could you imagine Trump and Kamala Harris as vice president? Like
only in my dreams.
Old school. But then again...
Well, speaking of that, who do you think is going to lead the Democratic ticket? Newsom just had an amazing outing where he basically, in front of an African-American audience, said, I'm one of you. I have low SAT scores as well. And I was like, what?
Isn't that like, I hate to be hyperbolic here, but isn't that like kind of like the Democrats like running position that the right's been trying to like get black people woke to for forever? Is like, hey, they don't think you're smart. They just use you as a voting block. Like, they try to pull the wool over your eyes all the time and be like, well, they're too dumb to get an ID. They don't know how to work a computer. I'm dumb like you. All I do is, rap song 40 ounce. Meh, meh, meh. I like hot sauce on my shit, says Hillary Clinton. At least the Republicans would be like, hey, man, you're on food stamps and we fucking hate it. Can you, like, get a job and then work with us? You'll like it. Once you get a job, you're going to be like one of us and not want to spend tax money on shit. And just every year, every 6 months, every however long, there's just some head of the Democratic Party that says dumb shit like that. President Biden's wife. I love the Mexican people. I love tacos. Now, that was a little bit of a stretch. She was talking about like, hey, different ethnicities have different food groups, and I love Mexican food. But I love Mexican food too.
Bro, Newsom's one
I watched it.
Damn near Pam Bondi level. What? And to me, I look at that as never met the guy, don't know him at all.
He seems like such a.
I think it's somebody that is such a chameleon, though. And you have committed yourself to trying to be everything to everybody that you no longer know who you are. And that's how things like that come out of your mouth without realizing you have, again, just stepped all over your crank.
I am whoever I think you want me to be.
Yeah.
That's him.
Which means you don't even actually know who you are.
Maybe he does, but he's just really good at playing the I'm who you want me to be.
God, I don't think that speech landed well for him. A little bit more of a lead balloon. It won't be the end of him, though.
I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of African-American folks talk about it. I've seen mainly just like right-wing pundits be like, dude, right-wing meme accounts.
Oh, no, it won't be the end of him, for sure. I think he'll probably lead the ticket.
He'll never... The way that California is set up, unless there is like some sort of major redistricting, it's got to be blue forever. Reagan fucked that up.
Did you see the latest voting, though, in the last election? The red creep has usually been more inland. It is creeping closer and closer to the water. They had more red territory, for lack of a better word, in California than they had in quite some time. But not into the major... I mean, let's be honest. California is, from a voting population, San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego. Deeply blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that swings the whole state. Gavin Newsom, who would be his running mate? Do they run...
Shapiro from Pennsylvania, the one that was supposed to get the vice presidential nod.
Do you think they run Kamala again?
No, that crashed and burned. They won't do that again because she'll have to interview again. And she is a good, I talk the points, I read the teleprompter. She's not a good interview person.
Yeah. Newsom actually can debate his ass off. He's very good. Obviously, we have a recent example of perhaps where he fell lower than his standard he would like to set. But he can talk his ass off.
Well, yeah. Well, you said I can't read well because I'm dyslexic. Well, if your whole life has been I need to talk my points through, or talk through the issues that I'm thinking because it's difficult for me to read and stay focused and have conversations, and that's how I learn. Yeah, you're going to have a hard time debating a guy who's talented and relies on his ability to learn when it's all verbal.
Yeah, I wonder who they will throw up there as their... Well, there'll be what? Usually starts with like a dozen people probably.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of outliers. Some people just try to stay in as long as they can because they know somebody will flub, and then that'll boost them, or they get like a gotcha comment. But I think the guy from Pennsylvania, Shapiro, who's like one of the original nods besides what's his face to run with Kamala, which I think is interesting. Whenever it's just like, yeah, Kamala raised a whole bunch of money when Tim Walz got in there, and then the whole Somali fraud thing going on. Like,
she also inherited a shit ton of money
from the Biden campaign because
Correct.
She stayed on it,
and that's
she was
why
a part
they
of
didn't
it.
primary hers, because otherwise they would have not
lost that money.
Yeah, that's somehow forgotten.
So I'm an independent. I am an independent. I can't vote in primaries because I refuse to go on a team, and also I flip-flop both ways. Now in New York, I primarily vote Republican because I think some of the left-leaning issues have gotten us in some of the trouble, and I hate high taxes. But I forgot where I was going. What were we talking about?
Kamala, primary, losing money, not having access to the
yes.
funds.
But when I saw that the Democratic Party was just like, hey, we're going to limit your choices intentionally, I was like, how do I vote for that? How do I vote for that party anymore?
How does it even limit your choices? It was, this is your choice.
Like, well, one, I was disgusted with how brain dead Biden was, that they like, we're not going to acknowledge that he needs help. What they should have done is the second year in, they should have been like, oh, he's burnt out. Let's put Kamala in. We'll get a new vice president, somebody we can puppet, and at least we'll have a chance in the next election, or at least put a competent person in charge, even if she just reads a teleprompter, not a brain dead old man. One, that threw me. And then two, when they were like, we're going to choose for you, Democratic Party, I was like, ooh, you're going to choose for your party?
Completely accepted.
I was like, I can't.
They completely accepted.
And those
it.
people are all in power now. And I'm like, I'm supposed to trust those people with like the same thing? Like, I know the Republican Party's got its own issues, and I'll buck up against them all the time. I don't give a shit. Like I said, I have no loyalty. But I can't think of a reason to vote Democrat because of this previous president for the near future, while all these people are still in power.
Yeah.
Chuck Schumer's still in after 80 freaking years.
He's just getting to understand the job. It takes time.
It takes time. It needs to be a term limit.
Totally agree. Totally Completely agree.
12 years as a governor or senator, like that's enough. You got a decade plus? No, we're done.
Yeah, I agree. Where'd the podcast idea come from?
What do you mean?
You're starting your podcast.
Oh, I just saw everybody else doing it, and I got a lot to say. So I was just like,
What's it called?
Overserved.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And it's you and a buddy of yours?
Yep. We deployed together, and we're both police. Then he's got a family. I'm starting a new one. It's like the service to country, community, your family.
Yeah.
And we also get hammered together and have a good time. So we thought about it while we were drinking. Like, we thought about the podcast for a
Best
while.
of ideas.
Yeah. But the name came while we were drinking. I was just like, hey, we're overserved right now. We want to be overserved. We've been overserving. And so it was kind of like a tongue-in-cheek thing. Like, yeah, it's service related, but it's also we booze.
How are you guys going to structure it? Weekly? Bi-weekly?
We're going to start off. I want to start it off every 3 weeks. We got a couple episodes. We just did 2.
You guys got a studio?
Barely. It's my basement. It's literally like the first episode we talk about how we would love to have people's input on what we should do here because I'm a straight man with no decor experience. So it is, and personally just being in like, entertainment, like live entertainment for as long as I have, I love a black box. You know what a black box stage is?
No.
It's exactly what it sounds like. It is a black stage and there is nothing in it. Sometimes it's 360, usually it's 180. But it's called a black box because there'll be like one chair in it or like one piece of whatever it is to help your mind kind of go, okay, that's the chair, they're the living room. But the rest of the experience visually for you is made up in your mind. Your mind imagines and fills in the blank of that black space. So we literally have just black curtains and then like yellow and orange lighting because we're both from the 80s. So yeah, we need more. It needs more knickknacks and, things, accoutrement on the wall.
This is like evolution number 5 or 6, though.
Yeah.
And I needed people like JT to help me come up with design ideas.
Yep.
And then money,
Which is I'm trying to work on a skeleton budget. I spend my money on cameras,
Yeah.
and good microphones, so that way
That's where you want to start.
you have to start there. So I was like, all right, the background's just going to be black curtains for now, and we'll figure it out as we go on. But also, that's kind of the fun thing is like you get when you start building a community around your podcast or you and your boys fucking off or entertainment, whatever it is, you start building that community. I like to get the input from people. You should do this. You should add that.
Yeah.
I'm going to mail you something so you can put it up on the background. I'm like, okay.
Don't listen to all the input. Look for themes.
Rainbow dildos, not a good call. Noted.
I didn't say that.
A lot of upvotes for that.
I didn't. I was going to say, listen for themes. If several people or many are looking for that, consider it.
Themes. A rainbow dildo theme. It's just...
No, I literally started audio only, and then one of the consistent themes was we'd really like to be able to see.
Yeah.
Because I didn't understand how people consume the content because I was super late to the podcast game.
Brother, I'm coming in now.
Yeah. The first time I was on Rogan's podcast, I had never listened to one.
Name drop.
Well, he's a good friend.
I know.
Yeah. And I really should have listened to them or understood the size, scope, and scale of his audience because I could have said less dumb things. And
see, that's what I'm fine with my community being small so I can say the dumb shit that I do. I say some retarded stuff.
We all do. I would, and I actually wouldn't change anything, but I didn't understand. So when people were hitting me up saying add video, I'm like, you want to watch two people talking? This is odd to me. But then people reach up, they're like, listen, I'm listening to it in the background window at work. And if I hear something interesting, I like to go on there and see people's facial reactions. Okay, got it. So I had one camera.
Well, I like to think about it as just an evolution of old media, right?
Yeah, kind of.
How many times have people watched old men argue with one another on Crossfire for how many years that show was on?
Yeah.
And you would dedicate time. You would sit down after dinner every day to watch Crossfire.
Yeah.
And
if you think about it, if you only had the audio, it wouldn't have been as cool.
Yeah.
You want to see like the emotion.
The interaction.
Yeah. And so I started with one camera. They're like, hey, that's a good start, dipshit. But that's like wide angle and we still can't see anything. I was like, oh, okay. We need to have more camera
Yeah,
angles.
now you've got 5.
5, yeah.
I got 3. I've got 2 good ones.
3 is all you need.
That I got the straight ons from my buddy and I.
We call that A cam, B cam. It's not a big deal. I don't know if that's what it's called, actually. I don't know.
And then I got the long view one in the center, and it's kind of fuzzy because I don't know how to do lighting.
Yeah.
So for the first 2 episodes, like it's kind of fuzzy, and I kind of want to keep it that
Perfect.
way. And I want to have the pullback cam be like a VHS recording.
Yeah.
Like I want to have the two, like where it's just him and I talking, the one-on-ones,
Yeah.
clear, 4K, beautiful. And then I want to have the wide angle of the two of us together.
Like a 90s over-the-shoulder VHS.
Yeah.
Leave all the mistakes in there. I have so many episodes where like a camera battery has died halfway through, and I'll just put a picture of like my dog up on the for the
Oh, yeah. Never accept defeat. Continue.
Totally. Like, well, the audio is still good, guys. And if you were still there anyway, you already kind of knew what the person looked like and kind of the facial reactions. So here's my miniature dachshund.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, my editor
Leave
has
them all in there.
My buddy, he edits my videos now, and he's brilliant with like After Effects and putting stuff together. He's a spaz like me. John, good job. And he's done some. I like the unique aspect of our podcast because he'll actually throw in sketches or funny little bits, or as we describe something, he'll like put me on like somebody's like a talking head on something and have me interact with stuff, which is, you don't see that on podcasts.
People love that, though.
They do love that. And I was like, that's an interesting thing to have on a podcast visually. I go, let's work with that.
Yeah.
Let's do that. So I'm excited if a camera does go out, but the audio is still good, that he'll like put me like and splice my face onto different things whenever it's the hard cut to me.
We're not that far away from. You could, if you wanted to, not even have cameras, and they could do like a cartoon. If they had a picture of you and your guest, they could create through a cartoon conversation back and forth between the two of you.
I thought about that too. As much, it's like the dead internet theory. I like AI as like a help or a jumping off point.
Yeah.
Or like, hey, I kind of want to show you what I'm seeing in my mind.
It's an amplifying tool, but it can't be the foundation.
It can't be the foundation, because all it's doing is it's not taking anything original. It's taking everything that people have done and then saying, I guess this is kind of what it should look like if I put them together based on all these other things. It's not unique. This is like the only thing that it's not the only thing, but it's one of the things that I don't trust or like AI for, is come up with this unique perspective. No. Quick research theory on a book, on a 300 million page document.
Yeah.
Right? Awesome. That's what AI is great for. Boil it down for me. Give me the shit. And
Give me the names.
yeah, I want the names.
We're never going to get them. We're never going to get them.
No, that's when we get together.
There's 3 million more unreleased documents.
Just let me know when the revolution starts.
What do you think it would take to start it? I think it would be a very passive-aggressive revolution, by the way. I think people are like, no, I'm not giving you my taxes.
Dude, when people said we're going to boycott taxes this year.
Let's say 100 million people are like, get fucked on April 15th. What does the government do?
They'll print more money, but they'll also be like, oh, shit.
But is that the passive-aggressive?
I think that's
rebellion?
brilliant. I think, honestly, that because that happened with after Minnesota, there was like a large group of people that were saying, what if we just didn't pay our taxes this year? What if instead of taking the money out of our bank accounts and not paying it forward to the federal government, what if we just held it and then let every single one of their auditors try to tell us how much we owe? And honestly, I think that's a really good thing that I could get behind.
There is a number that at beyond what that point, the government would be fucked. It would work. I don't know what that number is, though. I think it's a very big number. But if it ever eclipses that and that many people get on board, I think that could be the beginning of the passive-aggressive revolution, which is what we'll call it from here on out.
I want the passive-aggressive revolution. I don't want to shoot anybody.
I don't want to bang. I tell people this all the time. Stop talking about civil war.
Yeah, that's bad.
Then
you're going to have people don't get it. Like, you want to talk about insurgency? I'll talk about insurgency. You're going to have so many outside governments try to affect the physical civil war that would go on in the United States to make sure that both sides are so decrepit at the end that then we can be overrun by some other entity. Like, we do not want a physical civil war, period, because the amount of outside countries and agencies that would come in to just make sure that we kill ourselves instead of having them do it for us, like, oh, it's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the worst thing we can do is self-implode. We need to do it passive-aggressively.
Yeah. And again, money, man. It's what makes the clock
The
go
root
round.
of all evil?
Well, I said this yesterday with Greg. The best example or metaphor I've ever heard about money was from my buddy John Wellborn, who was a pro ball player for 10 years in the NFL.
Who do you play for?
He played for the Kansas City Chiefs, and he ended his career with the Patriots. Offensive line. Is that which part was gross?
All of it.
Kansas.
All of it.
Okay. I'm assuming that's not your team.
Bills fan. So the two
All right.
flies in the ointment for us.
Bills are better than the Giants?
Yeah, we're better than the Giants. We don't like the Giants. You said Patriots, didn't you?
Yeah. Isn't there another New York team? It's the Bills and the Giants.
There's only one New York team, actually. The Giants and the Jets play out of New Jersey. The Bills are the only team that plays in New York.
New Jersey and New York are the same. I don't know. Study geography.
You're a bad person. You know that? I don't think you have enough people on here telling you the straight shit. You're a horrible person on the inside. And I hope one day you can change. I doubt it.
Whatever. I'm just saying they're really close.
Gross.
But he watched people go from abject poverty to wealth overnight.
Oh, because of the NFL. Yeah.
And he said money's just an amplifier. If you're a good person, it gives you the ability to do more good. But if you are a bent compass, stand by.
Yeah.
I do think that there are people out there who are fantastically wealthy that are trying to do the absolute best that they can.
I think Elon Musk is one of them. Neuralink.
Oh, dude. I want him to let me jump off one of his rockets. That's all I want. Take it to like 50,000. I'll ride a lawn chair, which I feel like can sustain the G's on the top.
Can you sustain the G's?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like we could take off at a slower speed. He's landing the rockets. Can we have a takeoff speed that's like, I don't know, we'll just do like 120. You know what I mean?
How much fuel do you have to do? I don't know.
He's got enough.
You've done Halo, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question for you. My ears popped when I did an actual skydive.
Yeah, it's changing pressure.
And they didn't unpop, and I had so much pain for like 2 days afterwards.
Did you try to Valsalva?
Like pinch your nose.
Yeah,
it would still, and I will never do it again because of that.
I would say it would be unlikely that it would happen again, but you said you do have allergies. I'd maybe take a hit of Afrin in the day that you were going to do it. That is just a pressure differential is all it is. Not uncommon. I've heard that. Some people, they're like, I can't hear.
Yeah,
try to get them
muffled for like 2-3 days.
Yeah, you try to get them to Valsalva. It's just that you're going from a lower pressure system to a high pressure system. As you come down, yeah.
Well, I know that's how the thing works, but just how my body wouldn't correct it was horrible.
Yeah, but that's an N of 1. You know what I mean? That's a shitty N of 1, but it'd be unlikely for it to happen again, I think. Yeah. What else haven't we covered? We've been out literally for almost 3 hours. Did we cover everything?
Have we really?
Yeah. Yeah, I got to get you out of here for the airport in like 10 minutes.
There's only one thing we haven't talked about. The Jews. No. This is going to get demonetized so fast. No, we did. We talked about Mossad and Epstein.
Michael.
I did my best to ruin it.
Mark that immediately for a standalone clip.
Yes, absolutely.
We haven't talked about the fact that we're in war with Iran, or an operation is going on in Iran.
We talked about that when we got coffee.
Not what I thought I was going to wake up to.
Yeah.
It seems like it's strategic airstrikes. I do not want to see boots on the ground anywhere
Period.
else.
I don't know. Let's let them fight it out amongst themselves. A friend had said it. I agree with it. I'm tired of nation building. I love what we do with Venezuela. I like that we went in, surgical strike. We stole a president from another country. That's unique. That's pretty unique. And then we said, all right, cool. If you don't want us to continue to yoink people, how about you have free and honest elections like you say you're having? It was kind of more of a bluff call, right? You said that you're doing the good thing. We know you're not. You're doing the bad thing. Yoink, consequence. Gonna do the good thing now, and it looks like they are, potentially. Everything could change.
Yeah.
I like that. Iran is its own can of worms. I will say that stern leadership and not democracy seems to be a better fit in the Arab worlds, in their culture.
It seems to work better.
I'd say better, yeah, right? So I think that with this potential overthrow of their government, which I think is good, I do not like the Iranian government. They do not like us. They're a thorn in the world's side, not just ours. I think that us assisting it is cool. I think that the overwhelming amount of deaths from the protesting have finally shown Iranians that it's now or never. Their government is not there to help them. It is there to retain power and slaughter anybody who pushes back. I think the crown prince, or I think he was the crown prince, whatever it was, I think him coming back and either being some sort of interim monarch or a monarch / parliamentary system like the United Kingdom has, maybe that'll work. Maybe just a straight monarchy. That seems to work out the best over there. One guy, you do this, we're all on the same page. If you don't, consequences. That seems to be the most productive form of government over there in the Arab world, in that Iranian peninsula. I mean, Saudi Arabia's got the crown princes, right?
Who knows what's happened in the 3 hours we've been talking?
They sent missiles. I know that they did a strike at like the UAE. They bombed like the Fifth Fleet in Bahrain, old building. I don't know.
Drone stuff, yeah, heading back in the. Which, I mean, you should expect a response. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, obviously. I heard that they hit a U.S. ship, which is don't touch our boats. It's number one rule: don't touch the boats. Interested is the correct word. It would be sad, but I'm interested to see if there has been U.S. casualties from this. I'm excited to see what we're going to strike next. Who's been removed or eliminated from the Iranian form of government. I know there's been a couple names that have been dropped out already that say that they're dead. Like the Ayatollah might be dead already.
I tell you what, Israel is good, as we were talking about, the soft skills. And, you know, when we did the strike last year, identifying all the scientists and just, I mean, their intel
is the best thing that they've got. That is why Israel will stay around. Their intelligence gathering is insane. For all the people that go, like, we don't need to send any money to Israel. Listen, it's not like we send them money and get nothing in return. Like, they are the intelligence hub of the entire world. I don't know how they did it. I'm sure I could read books and figure out how. But they're insanely talented in that intelligence gathering system. There is a quid pro quo relationship with the United States in funding, military assistance, and Israel's intelligence gathering system, apparatus, whatever you want to call it. It's extremely impressive. And that's how they're going to stay around. You know, he with more information wins.
Generally, yeah.
It's like the dude in, it's like the bald eunuch in Game of Thrones. Yep.
I have no idea.
I've only seen like the 5 seasons. I haven't seen
Clearly
the
you're
last
deep
two.
into GOT.
I'm reading it right now.
Oh, you're reading it? Mm-hmm. I bought the books to collect them. You know, like
100% checks out that you would read them as opposed to watch them. Are you going to watch the shows after?
Yeah, well, I listened to the first one and I was watching it while I was dog sitting, hot ready to catch up.
Yep.
And now I'm reading the second.
Nice.
This is for you.
I can't take that on the plane. Is
I'll
it a
mail
knife?
it to you. It is a knife. I'll mail it to you.
What's MKC Tactical?
Montana Knife Company. Tactical. You should know what that means.
Are you owning it?
No, these are guys down in Missoula. They make really awesome knives. I don't think that one is up on the wall anywhere. All the knives you can see though are MKC blades. This is their redacted knife.
A redacted? Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about getting a redacted tattoo. My wife has an amazing redacted tattoo. It is, I think it's David, statue of David, and it's got it's a female. I forget who it is, but she's got a black bar through her eyes. And I was like, have you dated anybody in the military? She's like, no. I go, not only is that amazingly artistic, it's fucking hard as fuck. And I want to get a matching one really bad, but I want to get David.
Yeah. This is more for you, for your military.
Ooh.
It's a cool blade.
I'm so thankful that it's not serrated. I don't need serrated.
Had I known that you didn't enjoy those, I would have made sure that they got me one, even though I don't think they make a serrated blade.
You know why? Because they're a good knife company. I like this.
Yeah, I'll mail it to you. I'll just get your address.
Please do.
Michael, send it to you.
I wouldn't do it, but I want to do it.
I don't care. You can stab the table.
I want to. It's just like one of the fun things you can do with knives.
What do you want to close out with? They're obviously angry cops. Even though you're not an angry cop, it's fucking clever marketing. The podcast, though, when's it going to be up? When's it going to come out?
So we've got the 2 episodes done. It's the Overserved podcast. My face is going to be on it as well as my buddy Joe's. And I'd like for it to come out at the end of March. Those dates could slide forward or back because
we're close. This will be a few weeks, 2 or 3 weeks before it comes out anyway. So if you guys get it out in March, this actually might be good timing.
Yeah. Well, it'll be like towards the end of March because we want to put out like a couple weeks of like, hey, this is coming.
Yeah.
We're going to have
towards the end of March. So I think the timing's actually going to work well. Accidentally.
Perfect. I'll see you on the other channel. Go directly there and don't watch another interview from Andy at all. Ignore him and come directly to my thing. That sounds rude. I don't want to do
No, that's a perfect ending.
Yeah. Fuck your show.
That's perfect.